Good afternoon and welcome to sunny KG5. It's round 5 of the TSL and it's Glenorchy versus North Launceston for you this afternoon. Perfect day for footy. Andy Bennett, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alistair. Wonderful day out here at Glenorchy. The ground's in perfect condition, it looks like, and it looks big. We've been used to, we've been around a few small grounds today. Lots of running to be done. Looking forward to a good open contest this afternoon. North Launceston's form's been pretty impressive, 3-1 to start the season. Very impressive. I was hard on them last year. I thought they underproduced, underachieved, and I'm really impressed that they've got away to a good start this year because actually I think they're a very talented side. We've already had one result so far in round 5 of the TSL, and Clarence continued on its merry way last night with a 95-point win over Lauderdale. They are looking in very ominous form, the reigning premier there, and the ladder. With Clarence's win last night, they've moved to 5 wins. Look at that percentage, Benno. That means they've kicked double the amount that they've had kicked against them. Yeah, they're impressive in every way. Their best players in particular playing so well. Brett Gapen, 8 goals. Cameron Thurley, 4 last night. Their best players are on fire. It's a battle today between 3rd and 5th on the TSL table. Glenorchy with a couple of wins and a couple of losses, so their form's been a little bit up and down. Devonport yet to really hit its stride, but did win last week, so pretty happy they broke through for a win. Errol Bourne, I'd imagine. Lauderdale, South Launceston and Hobart. The goal kickers, Brett Gapen, what a season he is having. Kicked his 3rd bag of 8 last night. Brian Finch with 16. Jonathan Bowring, who we'll see this afternoon, has been in really good form. Gardam, Cameron Thurley with 4 last night. Darren Crawford, who we'll also see, and potentially a match winner for the Bombers. Yeah, Darren Crawford hasn't been as prolific. Remember this time last year, he had, I think from memory, had a bag of 5 and a 7 and a 6, something like that. Kicked, I think, just 3 last week, but he's entertaining, isn't he? I love coming to the football to watch Darren Crawford. Damien McIver not with us today. No. The former Glenorchy player probably didn't feel comfortable venturing out here in the ABC Blazer. Let's get down to the boundary line, and it's a warm welcome to a new face for us down there in Rick Fontaine, and joining him, Tim Hazel. Good afternoon, boys.
Good afternoon, Alistair. And as you said, the sun is shining, the oval is in fantastic condition, and I'm here with a debut. Rick, you must be excited. You've come down from Launceston. How are you feeling?
Tim, woke up pretty early this morning, and like anyone making their debut, a few little butterflies this morning, but as you said, it's a gorgeous day here and thoroughly looking forward to what should be a terrific game. Glenorchy, a great win after the disappointment of a fortnight ago against Lauderdale, with a terrific win up at West Park, and with a few stars back in the side today, it promises to be a terrific game, and I think they'll be at the top of their form for this today.
Home ground advantage, and I spoke to Ben Reid, the Glenorchy coach, before and asked him about the senior inclusions into their side for today's game.
Yeah, we are, Tim. It's a really important game for us today. We want to get ahead of the ledger. We're 2-2 at the moment, and yeah, you're right. We've got a bit of experience coming back in. Hopefully we'll bolster the squad. Kids did the job last week. A couple of them have held their spot, and we welcome back some experience now.
Crouch, he's a huge inclusion for you boys.
Yeah, look, he's our captain, very experienced, great leader on field. We're really pleased that he's back after only missing one.
North Launceston, they seem to have got some momentum in their game. It's going to be a big challenge for you boys today.
Yeah, definitely. They're in good form, 3-1, so you can't knock their form. Had a good win last week against the odds, so we're here. So they'll be keyed up for a good performance today.
All the best, Ben.
Thanks, Tim.
So Hunt and David O'Garry also back in the lineup for Glenorchy. Lots of match winners for mine in this game on either side, Benno, if you think of Bowring and Bowden and Hunt potentially. Yeah, Glenorchy has at the top end some real talent. We're looking here at Jesse Crouch back in. He's named on the wing. I actually think today, I have a sneaking suspicion they might run him against Zane Murphy, who's been in really good form for North Launceston. I'd be interested in that. But across the centre line, they've got Jesse Crouch, state player, terrific player, Jonathan Bowring in outstanding form at the centre, and Jake Cox on the wing, who's an outstanding user of the ball. I'd like to see him work harder for more amount, bigger parts of the game, but if he gets the ball in his hands, something results. Tim Hazel, North Launceston's wins have come over northern teams so far. It'll be a big test for them in unfamiliar territory this afternoon.
It will be, Alistair, and it's going to be a huge challenge for them to come down. I'm down here with Cameron Thurley, Clarence superstar. You're joining me again on the boundary, which is really exciting. How are you feeling, and how do you see today's contest?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great contest. Glenorchy have been, like Ben said earlier, 2-2, and North Launceston are coming down on their first road trip down south. So I'm expecting a really, really good game.
I caught up with Paul Atkins, the North Launceston coach, before the game and asked him about this being their toughest challenge.
Look, challenge is the word that we've used this week. Last week's word was contest, and we had an early bus trip down this morning, and challenge is the word that I really look at coming to KG5, playing against a really solid opposition. So it's it is. We're really looking forward to the challenge.
Glenorchy, last week they were a very young side and they won. Today they've got some experience coming back in. What players are you going to be targeting?
Look, we target the lot, and that's a cliched answer, I suppose, but where my group is at the moment, I'm really working on identifying all the group. So, look, they've certainly got some outstanding players. One of their younger guys had an exceptional game last week, but I really want my guys to concentrate on the 22 that they're going to throw on the track.
It's going to be a great contest. All the best, Paul.
Thanks very much, Tim. Good on you.
And there is the North Launceston lineup. Murphy named in the centre, a recruit from Burnie, Benno. He has been in sparkling form already this season. Top 10 in the Tassie medal last year.
Yeah, he's had 2 best on ground performances, a prolific ball winner and user of the ball. I think the opposition may exploit him, or the way you would try and exploit him is maybe he's not a great defensive player, but gee, when he's going well and has the ball, he uses it very well. But they're a very experienced side. Shane Wayne's off half-back. It's just in the very top echelon of players in the state. Alan O'Sign on ball, real tough, very tough. Andrew McLean, God bless him, 36-year-old. More power to you, Andrew, leading the ruck. Darren Crawford, we talked about, only 22-year-olds, but he's been around. He seems to have been in our football for a long time. Interesting, they run just two teenagers. Glenorchy, on the other hand, even though they've lost some players to the Mariners this week, are still running 6 teenagers. So a very experienced North Launceston side.
Some really good games of football going on in the south of the state this afternoon, not just this one at KG5. North Hobart versus Launceston at North Hobart Oval. That should be a ripper, although the Blues, their form last week a little ordinary against Devonport, comprehensively outplayed. Hobart versus Burnie at the TCA. The Dockers have never played at the TCA ground, so that should be a good game as well. And then up at Devonport tonight to complete round 5. It's the Magpies versus South Launceston. Rick Fontaine, the debutant, has joined us in the commentary box for this afternoon's clash.
And great to be here with you this afternoon, Alistair, and Andy as well. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Rick. Wonderful to have you here. How was the trip down?
It was a lovely trip down. A little bit of drizzle on the way, but the closer I got to Hobart, of course, the sun came out.
Well, naturally. Why should today be any different? You didn't come down with the North Launceston boys, did you?
No, but there was quite a bit of traffic on the road. There's a bit of momentum with North Launceston at the moment with 3 wins, but certainly a big test for them today. Some strong inclusions, as we mentioned earlier, for Glenorchy this afternoon, but very impressed with the way North Launceston finished last week against South. South had a very strong wind and with about 10 minutes to go led, and North got over the line with some terrific play, but should be a great afternoon.
Should be a great afternoon. In the middle of that pack there, Zane Murphy from Burnie's been in sparkling form. Did you see him last week? He was very good apparently.
Zane was absolutely outstanding, Andy, last week, and just seems to get in and out of tackles very easily. Probably lacks a little bit of pace, but his skills more than makes up for it, and he really did shine for them.
He's been travelling down, Benno, from Wynyard to train every week with North Launceston, which is fairly taxing, I'd imagine, on him.
Fair bit of commitment involved in that. It certainly hasn't hurt him. His form's been excellent. While on that, we've got another one, Jason Chandler, who's returned to Glenorchy this year. Travels up every day to every training session from Newbina, where he teaches down at Tasman District High School, I believe. And now that's commitment, up and back.
That's a fair drive.
Yeah, good on him.
I remember once as a young boy driving with my parents from Penguin to Newbina, and it seemed like we were in the car for about forever. 3 weeks. The umpires for this afternoon's game, Sean Gleeson, Mark Tuckett, and I didn't see the last one in the end, but
Tim
I hope you did.
The other one.
Thanks, Rick. And Rick was an umpire, umpired a bit of statewide footy back in the day, Rick, and some NTFL as well, so I'm expecting you to go nice and easy on the men in yellow this afternoon.
Always go easy on them, Alistair.
There's Jesse Crouch, the captain of Glenorchy, back from injury this week. Very talented player. And they'll be expecting plenty of drive out of Crouch this afternoon. Glenorchy, Benno, their form's been a bit indifferent. They lost to Lauderdale, as Rick mentioned at the top. They lost to Clarence pretty comprehensively in round 1. But a win over Burnie at West Park, and Burnie been travelling okay. I think they'll take some confidence out of that.
Absolutely, though. Well, that's amazing turnaround, really. They would have, at the start of the year, put a tick next to the game versus Lauderdale, and maybe that was their problem. But they would have put a big question mark against the trip up to West Park, and they went up there with not their most experienced side, probably their youngest side that they've played for a number of years, and pulled a win. So they'd come in today feeling really good about their game. But so would this side, North Launceston, in good form, although I had a little quick chat to Paul Atkins. He hasn't been overly excited about their form. He reckons they've got away with a couple, probably on the back of some pretty good fitness. We went into the room before Alistair, and I thought they looked very fit, certainly markedly fitter than they were last year.
And there's the old warhorse, Benno, who you would remember calling from back in the old statewide days, an old North Launceston statewide premiership player, Andrew McLean. I'm quite surprised to see him going again. He obviously loves his footy, and
yeah, good on him.
And he's still more than up to it. He's been playing some good football as well for the Bombers this season.
He's a good athlete. He's always been that. He always can run and jump. He's sort of a natural mover with the ball, but he always good athleticism.
Round 5, ABC Grandstand from KG5. It's the Bombers versus Glenorchy, and McLean gets the first hit. Here's Bowden, who's under the pump from O'Sine early. Quick kick by Stubbs, didn't travel too far. Good creative hand pass from Young to Stewart. The Bombers inside 50 in the Cotton direction. Good spoil put on by Hodge. It's coming back in. Newman loads up on the left boot. There's no one home for North Launceston. Cotton's lumbering out after it, but it beats him over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in the forward pocket.
Joe Cotton's been in good form, they tell me, as well. And look at that, he's dropped a significant number of kilos. Good on him, 30-year-old, 196 centimetres. There's not many of that size running around in this competition.
Averaging 6 contested marks a game, Benno.
Yeah,
so
big improvement.
From the boundary throw in, the ball just towards the 50, picked up here by North Launceston. The kick coming up towards full forward, and going back there and taking a good mark for Glenorchy is Cox. He immediately plays on and kicks it towards the wing position. The ball bounces over the heads. Opportunity for Wilmot. Tackled. Could have been high. Play on, says the umpire. Ball comes. Whistle goes from the umpire, and it may be coming back here to North Launceston. It is.
Yeah, well done, the umpire. There was a couple of nearly frees in there, but the last one was definitely there. Just a push in the shoulder in the back. That one nearly got him high, and I reckon that one there, well, over the shoulder in the back. Well done,
So
umpire.
Wilmot kicks it to the top of the square. It's a tremendous kick that's gone a lot further than I thought. First blood to North Launceston, and Andrew Wilmot, the goal scorer there. North Launceston at the 2-minute mark, 1 goal straight, 6. Glenorchy yet to score. Terrific start.
There you go. What do I know? I was relaxed. I thought he won't kick this. We'll have time. He'll go back, try and set it up. And while I was waxing lyrical, he snuck in and kicked a goal. Great start. Very important when you're on the road to get on the board early on. Well done.
A little bit of breeze favouring the end. North Launceston kicking too as well, perhaps. Certainly travelled a long way.
Wilmot, who's come up from the NTFA to play with North Launceston this season. Going early was Spencer, a former North Launceston player. Matthews all over the top of his opponent in Murphy. And we'll have another bounce. In fact, it was Young at the bottom of all of that for North Launceston. There is Simon Spencer, reacquainting himself with a few old teammates. Nice high bounce, so that centre area nice and firm. Spencer gets a little hand pass. Webb went without it. Here's Adam Viney back in the side today, returning from suspension. He kicks it out towards the wing. Foot race on. Childs there for North Launceston, tapped out of his hands by Bowden. So that's a good psychological blow early for North Launceston to get the first goal of the game on the road. And they look pretty bright out of the middle. Spencer and McLean. McLean at the back. Spencer palms it down. Murphy had his kick smothered. Tackle put on Bowden, but he got his hands clear. David O'Gary by hand to Matthews. Goes on that left boot, and he's usually a good kick. Getting hands to it, unable to take the mark. Parker, Mountain, he had it handballed over his head. Matthew Viney sees it over the boundary line. Matthew Viney been in excellent form for North Launceston as well. In the best players every week so far this season. Older brother of Adam.
So from the boundary throw in, McLean at the back fists it back to the centre wing position. Lux of Fortune, O'Sine has it, kicks it towards half forward, but the mark there not paid by the umpire. Could have been paid there, I thought, but following up well was Hodge, who kicks it into the centre of the ground. Mark can't be taken. Nightingale there for Glenorchy. The ball bottled up in the centre of the ground, and I think the umpire will have no option but to bounce. A magnificent afternoon for football here at KG5.
It was nearly a mark to Jade Hodge, but more importantly to that, he really attacked the ball. Good sign. Real enthusiasm, second effort, ran hard when he had it.
So from the bounce, just forward of the centre for Glenorchy. McLean again gets it fist. He's had a good start. O'Sign, a quick kick to the centre of the ground. The ball bouncing high there with the firmness. Picked up there by Spencer. Kicks to half forward. No mark taken. Opportunity now for Glenorchy. Short pass coming in towards full forward. Mark couldn't be taken for Glenorchy.
And a clearing kick from the Bombers out to the back flank where Stewart takes the mark. He goes short. Mark taken by Young, who goes in the Crawford direction. He's on a long searching lead, and a little bit of a shepherd put on by Cotton there allowed his opponent to take the mark. Benno, I didn't think that was overly subtle, personally.
It was smart, if risky, and I think he may have got away with one. But Darren Crawford, he's not tall. We can see there's just 180. So his height isn't his big strength. He's got very powerful legs, and that enables him to jump high, but also he's very quick off the first few, over the first few metres, and he used that to real advantage then. But you're right, Joe Cotton did a good job getting away with one.
So Crawford from 30 metres, and it's an excellent start from North Launceston at KG5. They've kicked the opening 2 goals. They're 2 straight, and Glenorchy not on the board yet.
No, very impressive start. Good quick movement of the ball. May have got away with one. We'll watch this off just in the back of the screen there. Well, he probably actually ran behind him in the end, but what he did, at least he distracted the opponent, and Crawford opened up that 2 or 3 metres. The good sign, it's a good sign for North Launceston. They've kicked 2 straight, but what's another good sign is Crawford, who I reckon is a bit iffy with his kicking, and it seems to run on confidence. If he gets his first run through, often he'll turn that into bags.
13 goals for the season for Darren Crawford.
So McLean dominating the ruck early on. The 36-year-old not showing his age. Got no chance here, though, as Spencer gets the tap. And Glenorchy will push forward this time inside 50. No mark taken there. Over the top, Hunt can't pick it up. Opportunity still for the players milling around the ball at the moment. And North Launceston, they're going to break again here. The ball comes over the top to the captain in Wager towards half-back. Trying to pick up the ball there. David O'Gary comes in board to Spencer, and Spencer goes over the top again. Glenorchy coming forward, pushing inside 50, short pass, and the mark dropped there for Glenorchy. Opportunity for O'Gary this time again. Nightingale with it. Kick from Spencer to full forward, right to the teeth of goal. Coming from the back, couldn't take the mark. Second in line, and North will run away with it here out of defence.
Nice bit of evasion from Murphy. And an excellent mark over the back. It must have been touched because Viney took it. That was Adam Viney, and the umpires go to call for it.
So when that ball was kicked to Glenorchy full forward, it was 4-1 against. 2 in the air against the one single Glenorchy player. Hit the ground, and there was another 2 of them.
He must
Glenorchy
be getting...
not working hard.
Sorry, Benno. Michael Darcy, I imagine, getting a little sick of this treatment he's copying in the State League since coming up from the country. He's always out-teamed as Matthews got it towards Spencer, who hand-passed it straight to Child. Now an opportunity for Matthew Young, who dished it out to Mountney, who sends it out to the wing. O'Gary hot on the hammer of Callan Young, and Young sees it over. Part of the famous North Launceston Young family.
Chang Young was one of my favourite characters in Tassie football. It's a delight. I run into him about once a year, and it's just an absolute delight to share a bit of time with him.
Just a quick one, guys. The reason why they're finding so much space down back with North Launceston is Shane Wages, their free player, and he's running hard forward.
Thanks for that, Cameron Thurley on the boundary line for us this afternoon. Webb taken in a tackle, seemed to have plenty of time to get rid of it. Nice and lenient there, the umpire, as the kick sent inside the 50. David Hunt attacks the footy under pressure from Hamish Shaw. He sees it out.
It's a good end for them this week, David Hunt. Talented player. He's just, I've admired the way he's grown over the last couple of years. Very reliable, good competitor, clean hands, good kick.
So from the boundary throw in, it's McLean again, this time doing battle with Parker. No clear breakaway here. Glenorchy trying to push forward. The ball coming inside 50 for them now. Hunt makes his way. That's a very strong mark taken by David Hunt. We were just talking about him, Andy, and that's a very strong mark, but importantly in front, and that pays dividends.
Exactly. There's he's right on cue. That's what he does. He's nothing fancy or anything. He doesn't jump from behind or take big pack marks, but he does lead hard at the ball. If he gets his hands on it, the opposition have a real job to do to get it away from him. He's a good, solid player.
McLean coming off for a break. He's had a terrific start, but Hunt now for Glenorchy's first score from around 30 metres on a difficult angle. Set sail for home. The goal umpire's a little bit of work to do, and it's just off to the left. But Glenorchy on the board, 1 behind, and North Launceston 2 goals straight, 12.
So it looks like Murphy loads up with a big left footer. That's a beautiful drop punt. I could go to the footy just to watch that all afternoon. A good 65 metres on that kick, but it's going to come back in. Bowring, short to the edge of 50. Mark taken by Bryce O'Gerry. Bryce sees something he likes at the top of the goal square. They've afforded Hunt some space. He flies. Couldn't hold the mark, taken out of it.
Pushed, yeah.
And it will be a free kick to David Hunt directly in front of goals, only 15 metres out. It was poor marking from the North Launceston defence. He seemed to have a good 10 metres on his own before they realised that the kick was going in that direction.
The good thing was Bryce O'Garry got back so quickly and wheeled and played on. And you're right, David Hunt had just dropped backwards. The defenders just lost touch with him. Really important is touch and field.
So shouldn't miss from here, David Hunt. Second shot in a minute. He makes the goal umpire work a little again, but this time he celebrates. Glenorchy's got its first, and they trail by 5 points.
Yeah, and they've looked a little bit better in the last couple of minutes. So Gary's been very good down in the forward line, just at ground level. He does that all the time. He just works very hard when the ball's at the bottom. Watch this. He's hit front on, hit in the head, then around the neck, I reckon. There's what do you reckon, umpire? About 4 of them in there?
I think he let them go a little bit there, Andy, didn't he? But Hunt's made a terrific start to the game here, and we're back in the centre of the ground now. McLean having a spell. So it's North Launceston by 11 points. From the resulting bounce, Glenorchy trying to burst through the pack in the centre of the ground. Picked up by the skipper in Crouch. Gets a short pass inside 50 on the lead, and it's another mark. Terrific mark taken for Glenorchy, and it's Hunt again.
Man.
He's having a purple patch here for the last couple of minutes, Andy.
Yeah, well, we can keep saying whatever way we like. He can play. He's just very efficient.
He pulls on. He's looking for a lead and falling back. Good mark there, taken in defence for North Launceston by Stubbs. And they're off and running here. They've got a loose man, North Launceston. The play up towards the wing position. Well smothered there by Sweeney for Glenorchy. And what's happening here? The advantage played. The umpire's seen something. Nightingale kicks inside 50. Looked to be in the back to Hunt, but no, the play is allowed to go, and it's a Glenorchy mark anyway. And the mark taken by Darcy.
It's not a bad little duo, is it? Darcy, good body player, one-on-one. Hunt, if he leads, and he does do that really well. Hunt, he presents, and therefore he runs at the ball, creates a lot of space behind.
So Darcy will kick from around 40 metres out. And that's a good-looking kick, but drifting just off to the left, so it's another behind. But Glenorchy dominating the last few minutes.
Yeah, turned it around. It was very ominous early on. I thought North Launceston were all over them, but Glenorchy have settled, won a few more contests. They lost the first 2 out of the centre bounce. They've won the last 2.
Zane Murphy sets himself again. And nothing presenting short, really, so he may have to go long. In the end, he does go short and centrally to Matthew Viney, who takes the mark. By hand, goes back to where it came, and as we so often see, that laconic style of Zane Murphy just bounces out of defence and hits a target, but Wager couldn't take the mark, and pinching it was Webb. Scrubby old kick. Opportunity now for Young. Matthew Young, high tackle possibly on Murphy. He wants to crash through them all, and he did it beautifully. Quick kick there by Child, and he found Wilmot. Wilmot sets it up to centre half forward. Bit of a wrestle going on there, and a good mark taken by Adam Viney. Used his body nicely. He sends it in the Crawford direction. Crawford at the back, out-pointed. Well done, Dan Muir. And Muir spots up Matthews on the wing, and off he goes.
The Matthews has a bounce and crosses the centre wing. He'll kick it inside 50 again for Glenorchy. Players leap all over the top, almost a mark to Glenorchy, not paid. Play on, says the umpire. Battling the ball now, the handball coming out of defensive 50, a little bit scrappy here. The ball finally comes free now. Opportunity for, looks like it for Glenorchy. Cox taking the ball there. Picked up here by Wager, under immense pressure at the moment. Glenorchy have really lifted in the last couple of minutes, but the opportunity now, the ball coming out towards the wing position, playing from behind and getting his hand in front. This time was Hodge. Cotton trying to get the ball as well, immediately gang tackled, and he's been pinged for holding the ball.
Took him on. I think probably a prior opportunity is fair enough.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So the ball coming back here to Hodge. He spots a player free in the centre of the ground, and Glenorchy will move inside 50.
Onto the chest of Bowden, who's got it about 60 from goal.
It's not beyond him. It's a delightful kick. He'll have to kick from 55.
Jay Bowden with a skip. Straight from 55. Sends it to a dangerous position at the back, Darcy.
It's always a line ball. Do you have your shot, or do you just drop it 20 metres out in front of goal? You know, that's the thought process that would have been going on in his head at that time.
Oh, that's another lovely kick from Murphy. Shaw's got it for North Launceston. He has a bounce. In pursuit was Sweeney, and the kick favoured Muir in the end in defence. So for the second time, Dan Muir can repel for Glenorchy.
So Dan Muir, he'll kick it to the wing position. In front, and a strong grab there. In front, quick handball comes on now to Chandler. Chandler goes short once again, looking for his teammate, couldn't mark it there. The ball on the wing position. Opportunity here for Hayden Fox, who gets the handball, but the ball is smothered and out of bounds, and we will have a boundary throw-in. It is a terrific opening to this match. North Launceston at the 14.5-minute mark. 3 points to the good at the moment after a bright start. And from the boundary throw-in in perfect conditions at KG5. Fox gets the tap down. Ball can't come clear. Chance for Wager. And the whistle's gone, and the ball will come back. No. Or will it be taken downfield? Looks like we wait. The ball will come back to North Launceston, and it'll be the skipper, Wager. Thought it may have gone downfield there, Andy, but
yep. Must have been before he disposed of it.
The short kick comes in, marked by Murphy, immediately plays on, evades tackle again, which he seems to do very easily. Blessed with wonderful skills, crouches there, picked up by Cotton. Quick handball over the top, comes towards Anthony Viney. Opportunity, though, for Glenorchy to break there. Good tackle, but getting out of it very well there. Good play there by Zach Webb for Glenorchy, but the kick only goes as far as to Child for North Launceston. Child, the handball coming over the top. Murphy again with that beautiful left foot, and Akers in the clear here. The opportunity for Wilmot, plays on with a short pass inside 50, and the mark is taken by Cotton, and he'll line up for goal from about 40 metres out.
He's cutting them up. Murphy just drifting off halfback, too creative, playing all of his football back of centre across halfback. No direct opponent. He's hurting him.
And the kick just off to the right, unfortunately, for Cotton. So registers their first behind for the afternoon. Behind to Cotton. And the lead now is 3 points at the moment for North Launceston.
And that's a good clearing kick out to the wing. Webb takes on Young and gets around him. On the left boot. Honoured Potter, who kicked a couple of goals on debut last week, the youngster. So possibly a bright prospect there for Glenorchy. Ben Reid said he fielded 9 teenagers last week against the Dockers, which was a bit of a record for the Magpies. Spencer, well read by O'Sine, surely got one high, managed to squeeze it out. Good spin from Stewart, although he gave it away. Spencer cut it off, and his kick, not a good one. Matthew Viney will be the recipient of the free kick for North Launceston. He goes to Murphy. In fact, that was Fox who took the mark. Now Child gets his kick forward onto the chest of Wager. Wager runs and goes and sends them inside 50. Crawford had a long way to come. The bounce evades him. Gathered by David O'Gary under pressure from Viney. Crawford chopped it off. He swings the left foot, snap at goal, and misses to the near side. So North Launceston 2-2, Glenorchy 1-3.
Glenorchy got 2 problems. Wages running around pretty much doing as he wants, forward of centre, and Murphy's doing the same backward of centre.
And from the resulting kick, a 50-metre penalty here against North Launceston.
That's hard. It's there. But what happened was Crawford reacted quicker than the umpire could, because he's closer. He knows, you know.
I agree, Andy. It looked as though he was about to play on, but they're tough on this, but it's a very big price to pay. Takes him just forward of the centre of the ground now, and the opportunity coming forward. Good strong tackle there on Jake Cox, but he gets away, kicks it to full forward. Opportunity there for North Launceston to clean up, and the ball comes out of defensive 50, and Wager will take the mark for them in half-back. He goes in short, inboard, finds his teammate there in O'Sine, who's had a good start to the game, O'Sine. Number of possessions, looking to change the direction of play, comes across the ground, finds his teammate there in Matthew Young, and they seem to be creating space on this side of the ground. Stubbs has it now. He'll go further over the top with a 20-metre kick to Child. Child has got 10 metres in the clear, kicks it in the Cotton direction, making his good contest there, and spoil was Hodge for Glenorchy on this occasion. And the ball comes out finally by Crouch, gets a handball, can't get it out, good tackle, and the ball hemmed in to David O'Gary, and we'll see a resulting bounce just inside 50. North Launceston currently leading 2-2-14 to 1-3-9 at the 19-minute mark.
And absolutely anyone's game. It's just end to end. Both sides having, either side having a little bit of dominance, then it bounces back the other way. No dominant pattern in the game at all.
Spencer with the double palm. Webb had it. This is Zach Webb taken off the footy by O'Sine. Child kick smothered. It was wonderful stuff from the Glenorchy player there in Potter. Now Darcy, well gathered big man. He swings around on the left boot, sends a kick out wide looking for Hunt. Big contest there. Players go to ground. Bowering, dangerous, well tackled by Stubbs. Hunt gets it back to Darcy, who again gathers it low. He swings a kick towards goal. There's a one-on-one, in fact a two-on-one, and the loose man comes up with it, Wager, and clears it out to the half-back flank and beyond for North Launceston. Young's got it in a paddock. He has one bounce. He kicks it inside 50. David O'Gary went over his head. Cotton. Viney on the left boot. Viney shoots at goal. It comes back and he's got the goal, Adam Viney.
Terrific goal, terrific team goal. Great finish from Adam Viney. But where they're dominant at the moment, when the ball goes deep into the forward line for Glenorchy, and I think Darcy's actually doing all right. He's working hard. Hasn't kicked any goals or taken marks. He's working hard. But when the ball's kicked to the teeth at goals for Glenorchy, North Launceston have been terrific at getting numbers back. In that case, it was Wager who ran away. They had 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 there, and Wager ran away. And from there on in, terrific football. They used it well, ended up in Viney's hands. But Glenorchy have a problem making the genuine contest deep in their forward line, getting enough numbers back there to make it a contest.
Terrific opening term, free-flowing game. It's North Launceston by 11 points. McLean back on the ground. The field umpire, beautiful bounce on a wonderful oval, centre of the ground at the moment. The resulting tap, McLean looks to pick it back up. He thumps it 15 metres forward, favours North Launceston as well, but looks like Littlejohn wrapped up in a tackle. Will he be pinged for holding the ball? He is. Good tackle there by Fuchs for Glenorchy, and he'll take the resulting free kick. Looks to come into centre of the ground, not a great kick. Spoilt there by North Launceston. And coming away, though, Glenorchy will take the ball. It was Bowering now. A chance for Glenorchy to pick up and move forward. Good handball by Spencer. Opportunity now for Webb for Glenorchy. He can't pick it up. Terrific contest here by the players. It's been a great opening term. And North Launceston will break away again. This time Murphy kicks it to the centre wing position. Chance here for Young for North Launceston. Callan Young spots up another free man. This time for North Launceston, it's Bo Thorpe in towards full forward. Looked to be a nudge in the back. Not paid by the umpire. Looked like it to me. And the ball going out towards the outer half-back flank. Chandler there for Glenorchy. Gets a handball coming inside to O'Gary, and they're away, the Magpies.
O'Gary wants to take them on, and he does so pretty well in the end. Hand pass to Rainbird. Hodge. His kick affected. It was a good bump put on him. Here's Bo Thorpe again. Thorpe in the Cotton direction. Got hands to it, the big man. Hodge behind. Hand pass to Chandler. Chandler, good kick. O'Gary. This is Bryce O'Gary. Kicks inside the 50. Hunt. He's got a little bit too much pace for his opponent. He goes one way, then the other. He had the kick affected. Getting back for North Launceston. Mountain, he did well. Got it to Stubbs, who got it to Young, who gets it to Murphy, who takes on Crouch and dishes him away. Hand pass over the top. O'Sine. This looks good for North Launceston. Really good free-flowing football inside the 50. Crawford at the back, edged out his opponent. There wasn't much in it, but they pay them for not much. That is the rule. The free kick definitely there. And Glenorchy can repel again.
To say it again, Glenorchy have got a problem restricting North Launceston's run out of defence. Once they win the ball in their defensive 50, Glenorchy just haven't been able to put enough pressure on. Good umpiring. The elbow was in. Lower part of his back, but it was definitely there.
It's Murphy again after the free kick from Muir. Turnover. Evades tackles so easily, Murphy. Blessed with wonderful skill. Knocked down. This could be downfield. It will be. It'll be a downfield free kick to Crawford after Murphy was unceremoniously dumped.
He's picked up where he left off last week. He's just dominating. I think his possessions now are 9 possession, 1 mark. He's just killing them. Wager would be up there somewhere as well, I would imagine. He's coming off a bit of a breather. He's earned it. Wager 6 possessions.
So they've been terrific in the opening term. Crawford only about 8 metres out from goal, but as you can see, a very tight angle. He'll probably try and run around here. Not too much, but he kicks it, and it is a goal to Crawford. That is his second for the afternoon, and North Launceston, a bit of breathing space here at KG5 with a tremendous opening turn from them. 2 goals to Crawford after the resulting downfield free kick. And North Launceston, Andy, would be very pleased with this start here.
Oh, they've played very well. Their movement from defence into the forward line has just been almost unrestricted at times, but gee, Ben Reid would be just spitting chips over that free kick. Just no need. A lack of discipline kills you.
17 points the margin. That score should read 4-2 to North Launceston. Crouch waited for it. Going in hard was Rainbird. Crouch taken to ground in a good tackle by Wager. McLean, little hand pass. In the middle of all that, it's hard to tell who's got the football. There were bodies everywhere.
Alistair, first quarter, plenty of rotations from both sides. Glenorchy have made 10, North Launceston have made 12.
Thanks to Tim Hazel. Matthews doesn't see anything he likes. This is really hard, intense stuff. Good tackling, good pressure.
It's a pretty warm day down there too. I think those rotations early on, especially with the guys who like this, like Crouch, who has to work hard, will pay off at the back end of the game.
Spencer won that hit out. Stubbs. Stewart gets clear, but had his hand pass nicked by Rainbird. He was taken to ground, gathered by Wilmot. Wilmot with a high kick forward. Cotton trying to exert himself on the contest, and an excellent defensive mark taken by Hodge, who's been good so far.
Terrific.
And he spots up Bowden.
Bowden now continues, plays on, spots up a free man here on the wing position, and that's Nathan Matthews. Swings onto that beautiful left foot of his, comes inboard to the centre square. The mark dropped there by O'Gary. Not under a lot of pressure, but the ball, resulting ball forward, bouncing right on the siren. I think that might be a goal. Jesse Crouch, right on the siren, has kicked a goal, and goodness, that's finished off Glenorchy's quarter on a positive note, because they were staring down the barrel at a pretty decent deficit at quarter time, but they'll take some confidence. It always gives a lot of confidence, Andy, on the siren.
Absolutely. The last goal of the quarter, especially if it's near to that quarter time break, really does lift you, because in the end, the last 10 minutes of that quarter, North Launceston just dominated, and they on the back of some terrific work from Zane Murphy, Shane Wager. They were outnumbered their opponents deep in their defensive line. Ben Reid would be very disappointed, I think, with the ease at which North Launceston have been able to run the ball out of defence. And after that, they really haven't been, on a number of occasions, they haven't been able to get their hands on the ball at all, Glenorchy, or even their opponent, to restrict the use of the ball in North Launceston. On the back of that, have kicked 4 goals. It's a couple of good plays. Gee, I'm impressive young, well, I don't know how old he is, Hodge, 22-year-old, first time I've seen him, very strong.
Picked him up from New Norfolk, Benno.
Yeah, strong one-on-one, attacks the ball, simple. You know, I like those players who make it very simple. Charges at the ball. But for Launceston, Murphy, O'Sign, Wager, their quality players have been outstanding. I think Viney's been good again.
Quarter time at KG5, and it's North Launceston leading by 11 points, 4-2-26 to Glenorchy, 2-3-15. Crawford's looking lively. He's kicked a couple of goals for North Launceston. He was coming back from an operation on his ankle, so he was a little slow to get going this season, even though he came into the game with 4, 1 and 3 goals. Here are the possessions. Hunt's been heavily involved. He's been a key target for Glenorchy, a couple of marks and 6 possessions, 1 goal, 1. 7 possessions for Spencer, 7 for David O'Gary, and 5 for Jonathan Brink. For North Launceston, Zane Murphy probably would have had a few more than 10 if he hadn't been rested towards the end of that quarter as part of that rotation that Tim Hazel mentioned. 8 possessions to Child, who's been very good as well. Wager with 6, 4 apiece for Wilmot, Viney, 5 for O'Sign, and 4 for Young as well. Well, it's been free-flowing, entertaining football at KG5. Wilmot caught everyone by surprise. He's loaded up and kicked a goal from outside 50, and that was the first goal for North Launceston. Here's Crawford on a good lead, and just putting a bit of pressure on the defender was Cotton, which seemed to work nicely there. Hunt got the first goal for Glenorchy. Gary went over his head. And they desperately needed it. Here's a beautiful finish from Viney on the left boot. That's a classy finish, Benno.
Yeah, they've got some good users of the ball. Viney, Murphy in particular, Wager again. Their use of skill and their ability to spread when the ball comes out of defence and find targets has been outstanding, and that's probably what's got them that result. You're right, Rick, that was a major kick, a really important goal for Glenorchy to get that on the end. The captain, Jesse Crouch, stood up when he had to.
66 possessions, Glenorchy to 69 for North Launceston. The marks in favour of North Launceston, 24-14. They've had a really good ability to hit targets so far, the Bombers, this afternoon. Inside 50s, nice and even, 13-12. The hit-outs even as well. Spencer and McLean having a good duel there. And the centre breaks 3-2. Well, I could happily come to the football any day of the week and watch a spectacle like that, Benno. North Launceston, I think last season when we watched them play, they looked very, very good when they were on, and they looked very, very bad when they weren't on. And I think they've managed to get a little bit of consistency into the performance this season. But let's get in and have a listen to Glenorchy coach Ben Reid.
Okay, they've outworked us for a whole quarter. They just worked harder than us both ways. All right, if I could sit and show you our vision of the ground when they win the football, how they take off like there's no tomorrow, and our lack of movement when we win the football. There's a huge disparity between the two, okay? We've just got to go. You've got to go. You can't just want to push if you think you're a realistic chance of getting the footy. You've just got to push to create space for your mate and to give a dangerous feel to what we're doing, okay? So they've outworked us in that regard. Their tackling pressure's been better too. All right, we've missed too many. All right? And some of our leaders have missed tackles, all right? Hit them and make them feel it, okay? If we start to stick the tackles harder, all right, and they come in waves, they'll cough the ball up. It's been shown. When Fuchsy went berserk up here a few times across our forward, we got shots on goal through fierce tackling pressure. We must start to stick the tackles, all right? Stoppages, we're going okay, all right? For some reason, I felt that we were getting beaten in there, but you guys you're actually clearing the ball better than they are, okay? So keep working on that. Keep working on it. Forward's got to be more aggressive on the lead. Put, come on, give us some hard, genuine, aggressive lead. Hunty, you're moving around really well. If we had four that were moving like Hunty, we'd be on top, I reckon. So you guys have got to pick up the slack and move up and meet him. Potts, don't get caught too wide there, mate. Start out there and come back in, all right?
Benno, you would think with a forward line that included Hunt and included Darcy and had options of Bowring and Bowden, it's pretty potent.
And Big Parker. And I'll point to a couple of things there. I think Darcy's worked pretty hard when he's been out on a lead or the ball's in his area. I don't think he's been fit. It doesn't look quite fit enough, hard enough yet to exert pressure when opposition have the ball. I think the same is happening with Matthew Parker. I've got to say, I'll put my hand up. I thought Matthew Parker was outstanding for Glenorchy at the end of last year, and I was hoping Marcus Parker, and I was hoping he'd really carry on with that form, but he just looks underdone to me. And if you're carrying two of your big targets like that, you're going to get run off. They're all right when the ball's around them, they'll work hard, but the chasing is the hard part, and I think that points to what's happening. I absolutely agree with Ben's point, Ben Reid's point around when they have the ball, North Launceston have spread much better than them.
Here's Tim Hazel with the North Launceston coach.
Thanks, Alistair. Paul, you must have been happy with that first quarter. Great run out of defence. What was the boys' message?
Yeah, just to stay in with the intensity. I felt our intensity dropped a little bit and we allowed them back into it. It's the best start we've had this year, and it is something that we have been working on, which is pleasing. You know, if you're asking for an effort, and we got it that quarter.
Zane Murphy, Shane Wager, plenty of ball. We must be happy.
Plenty of ball. Murphy still probably holds on to it for that extra step too long. You know, it's something we're working with, but we do have designated kickers, and for them to have the ball in their hands, pleasing as well.
It's going to be a big challenge second quarter.
Big challenge, mate. We've got to keep at it.
Good luck, Paul.
And great to have one of the State League coaches at quarter time, and he looks keen, Paul Atkins. Old Axe, he's running around everywhere. He's got the footy boots on this afternoon. I think a pair of old Magics, you know, that they used to wear back in the 80s. Benno, you probably had a pair of those.
Well, I can't remember back that far now, unfortunately. No, I don't think I had any much magic in the boots. But yeah, you're right. He's a smart player. He was a smart player, and this side's playing like he played. They're very clever when they have the ball. They've got good organisation when they have the ball in their hands.
Big win to Dandenong over the Tassie Mariners in the Mariners' first game over in Victoria this afternoon. That does not make pretty reading. That's a margin of 101 points. So Matthew Armstrong and his team on the receiving end over there at Dandenong in their opening game in the lead up to the National Championships, which start in June or at the end of May and flow into June. The second term underway. North Launceston leading by 11 points. Here's Rick Fontaine on ABC Grandstand.
And from the resulting kick in off the ground there for Glenorchy, where the kick came from Cox, but it only goes as far out here. All Crouch coming in over the back. Should be a free kick to North Launceston. It will be. And the ball will come back to O'Sign. Hard in and under player. Love the way he goes about his football. Free man in the centre of the ground for North Launceston now. And it's Wilmot who kicks it inside 50 and on the lead. Crawford out in front again.
So how is it that Wilmot could be that far on his own? Because it wasn't as if O'Sign had the ball in his hand, could play on straight away. He had to retrieve the ball, get back off the mark. They just are not responsive. They move from attack to defence. They're not quick enough in that area at all.
And in that opening term, Jade Child also found plenty of room in the centre and on the wing in particular, and they seem to be creating a lot of space. And from that kick that's come from Wilmot, we're with Crawford now, will kick from just inside 50, hemmed in the pocket. It's a good-looking kick, but a fair bit of work from the goal umpire, and it's off to the left, and it's a behind to North Launceston at the 1 minute mark. 4-3-27, 2 goals up on Glenorchy at the moment, 2-3-15.
And Crawford with 2 goals, 2 already, so 4 shots for Crawford. I can't afford to have him getting too much of the football. Bowden's kick was a good one. Muir put himself under pressure, nearly dropped the mark. He gets the hand pass over the top to Matthews. Matthews with some run and carry. Goes to half forward, hunts the target, getting back Hodge. Hunt got hands to it. Hacks the kick forward in the Darcy direction. Darcy out in front. Couldn't gather the football. He'll go again, the big fellow. Paddles to a dangerous position, but Child was there for North Launceston. And Murphy got his hand pass clear. Young to McLean. McLean in trouble. That should be holding the ball. Better pressure, Glenorchy. Webb, Braden gets his kick inside 50. A foot race on. Parker being shepherded off it by Mountney. And now an opportunity for Stubbs to clear for North Launceston.
And Stubbs kick out to Callan Young, who's got plenty of space if he can keep it in before it goes out of bounds. He gets his hands on it now, gets a handball over the top. It comes for North Launceston to Littlejohn. Kicks it inside towards Cotton, couldn't hold on to it. Tries to chip a pass, but all it does is go about 2 metres in the air. And from the ball now, a bit of a scrimmage developing. And a free kick will go back here to, looks like Glenorchy on this occasion. Getting one a little bit too high. And from the resulting free kick, Matthews takes the mark. Liked his game early. He's been terrific as well. Nathan Matthews. Not a lot of options up the field, Andy, at the moment. North Launceston manning up well, but Matthews, no one on the mark. That is poor. Has a bounce. Approaches the centre circle with a raking left foot kick again. Inside 50 on the bounce there. It comes tapped down cleverly there by Parker for Glenorchy. Handball comes out. Free player here for Glenorchy is Hunt. Hunt took a bit too long there. McLean, a good smother. The ball coming out now, picked up by O'Sign, who's been very busy for them. Opportunity for North Launceston through Murphy. Gets it out to the centre wing position. Poor bounce there. Adam Viney has it. Has a little bit of time and gets a short pass inside 50. Crawford marks on the 50 again. He's been terrific so far.
Again, the tackle did not stick from Glenorchy. Over the top of Hodges' head and a quick shot at goal taken by Stewart. And he really should have made them pay there, Ty Stewart.
Absolutely should have made them pay. But you called it dead right. David O'Garry's tackle on Viney just wasn't enough intent, strength, body behind it. Poor.
Muir in the back pocket for Glenorchy. Goes out wide. Spencer has been paid the mark as Young was breaking away. In fact, a high tackle. Would have been very generous to be paid a mark. Matthews, one way then the other. Again, a lack of movement for him. Handballs to the flat-footed Crouch, who gives it back to him. That won't be 15. Didn't carry anyway. Bowering, Crouch, and his kick not good. Just struggling to get involved in the game, Jesse Crouch at the moment. Stubbs takes the mark for North Launceston. He's got McLean short. He goes longer. Over the back it goes, and there was some body work going on there. It'll be a North Launceston free kick. Quick shot at goal taken by Wilmot, and the advantage will stand. Wilmot's got 2. North Launceston has the first of the second quarter, and they are looking much, much better this afternoon than Glenorchy.
Just a lot sharper. They're tracking the ball better, chasing their opponent harder, making more tackles. I think the free kick was in there as against Joe Cotton. I think he got one in the back somewhere when he's attacking the ball. And there's not a lot of pressure here. It's a pretty wide screen we've got on this television, and you've got to say, not many guys around Wilmot. And Glenorchy have a big ask in front of them. They've really got to up their intensity.
Early going in the second quarter, and it's a 19-point lead now. And from the ball up there, tapped down by Fox. Opportunity to break clear now. Glenorchy will get the ball forward. It'll come inside 50, but playing from behind, but working his way to the front. A terrific mark there by Bowring. He worked his way well to the front there.
He's a good player.
And he kicks from right on 50 to the teeth of goal. Won't quite have the legs, or will it? Rush through in the end, and it's a behind.
But see that, even in that picture, inside the goal square, there were 3 North Launceston players, 1 Glenorchy.
North Launceston now attempting to clear it. Stubbs has a bounce. Gets his hand pass over the top. Wager got it off to Murphy. And Murphy to half forward, a 2-on-1 here. Crawford beat both of them. Excellent mark.
Good pace.
He's approaching this game with some real vigour and attacking the footy. At the back, Stewart, this may land okay for him. Cotton's there for North Launceston. Had it knocked out of his hands. Well done by Hodge. He's doing everything right for Glenorchy. That's not a good hand pass.
It's holding the ball.
Good tackle on Wilmot, and it will be holding the ball.
They got one to stick, and they've got to build on that. They've got to really congratulate. Who was it that laid the tackle?
O'Gary.
Bryce O'Gary, who's a terrific tackler. He's a great competitor.
So O'Gary,
on that. Sorry.
A terrific tackle, called to play on now by the umpire, goes short, looks for his teammate in Matthews, couldn't hold on to the mark, but he's backed up well. The resulting kick coming in board is paw up, turnover, Wager, kicks it towards full forward. Cotton chasing after the ball. I don't think you'll get it, and it goes out of bounds, left forward pocket for North Launceston. Cotton getting involved, Crawford busy, plenty of worries down there for Glenorchy.
Wager, no opponent around him again.
Andy, boys, the breeze has actually picked up here. Over the last 30 seconds of play, it's going across the ground towards Mount Wellington. So just watch out. The boys are struggling a little bit with this whirly breeze.
So Cotton and Hodge do battle in the ruck. Cotton takes it out. Quick snap from North Launceston, bouncing across the teeth of goal there. Chance for Glenorchy. Good body work there by Chandler for Glenorchy. But coming backwards now, the chip kick and the mark taken. It's that man Crawford again, Andy.
Yeah.
He's on fire in this opening second term.
He really works his opponent over. He's always on the move. The little kick was terrific, really quick.
Good vision from Littlejohn.
Yeah, just got it onto his boot really quickly.
Just a quick one, Andy. The work rate of the North Launceston players, especially on ground level, gee, you can notice it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Glenorchy have really got to pick it up, their work rate, chasing over, grabbing their opponent and actually playing a bit of one-on-one footy.
Crawford must have been listening to Tim Hazel. He's checked the wind direction for this one as he moves in. It's a good-looking kick off the boot, and it's straight over the goal umpire's head. That's a third goal for Crawford. And he got that wind direction exactly right, Andy.
He's come with real intent, hasn't he? Just his work rate and attack on the ball, and kept presenting, racing around, and just deserts for that. They've got a real handful here, though. Glenorchy, they're just. I'm starting to question. It's early days, but I'm starting to question actually whether they're fit enough. It just seems to me there'd be a difference in fitness. I think Cameron Thurley's right on it. The work rate of North Launceston is way in advance of Glenorchy's, and I don't know how they're going to do it.
They're trailing this game considerably now. The margin 4 goals. Matthews at the bottom of all of that. He'll get the free kick. He's prepared to take them on. That kick perhaps a little wider than he intended, but the wind brings it back. Bounced off Hunt. Good hand pass, Spencer. Not a great kick. Darcy, if he can just gather it. Bowring collides with Darcy. This is comical from Glenorchy at the moment. Very uncharacteristic. And again, North Launceston able to clear. Fox put Murphy under pressure. Child, good in the first quarter. And an excellent kick out onto the chest of Bowthorpe from Ross Bowthorpe, brother of Mitch, who spent some time at Hawthorn, and his kick is cut out. Good mark by Fuchs, and Bryce O'Gary sends Glenorchy forward again.
Oh, big leap.
So the ball at half forward and trickles almost out of bounds. I thought it was going to go out of bounds, but no, Glenorchy moving it inside 50. The kick up there in the direction of Darcy, couldn't take the mark. Picking it up now, Bowring has a quick snap at the goal. I think he may have kicked this one, Bowring. Yeah. Wonderful play, picking that one off the ground. Darcy couldn't collect it. Much needed goal to Glenorchy. and that's their third of the game. They move to 3 goals, 3-21. North Launceston 6-4-40.
I was just thinking before he did that, the Glenorchy need to get their better players into the game, getting a lot of the ball. And Bowring's one of those, and that was consummate bit of skill, both in the way he read the ball at pace and then the way he just dropped it on the outside of his right foot. But you need your leaders and you need your best players to be getting a lot of the ball and showing the way. So they need the Jonathan Bowring now to back that up with a couple more big efforts.
So the 29-year-old getting his first goal of the afternoon for Glenorchy, and a much-needed one, is an understatement for the Magpies. Good bounce again in the centre, and getting it easily this time is Hayden Fox for North Launceston, and Glenorchy look to break away from the centre again. The resulting kick coming towards full forward. A good tap away there by Matthew Young. North Launceston in the last line of defence. The kick comes across to Child, couldn't take the mark. Plenty of pressure. The intensity just lifted the last couple of minutes from Glenorchy. Here's Crouch with the kick to full forward, going across the face of goal, and too far across the face of goal and out of bounds on the full.
They haven't kicked 2 goals in a row yet, have they? Well, they've only kicked 3 goals, so it's highly unlikely they have, but there was a real chance. He's a good user of the ball during Jesse Crouch, and he just missed. There is a bit of a wind. We'll put that one down to the wind.
Scoreboard here at the ground seems to have attributed a behind to North Launceston that should have gone to Glenorchy. I can assure you that our score on the ticker is correct. It's an 18-point margin in favour of the Northern Bombers.
He's strong.
McLean back on, boys, and Fox coming off for a break.
Thanks to Tim Hazel. There's Wilmot. Gave to Young, who takes them on. He's in trouble. He got rid of the footy. Matthews. Bowring. A couple of touches now for Jonathan Bowring. His left foot kick to half forward. Stubbs will be happy to see it over and sees himself over. A spectator for all of about 2 seconds there, Lyndon Stubbs.
Only good thing for Glenorchy, there are only 3 goals in it, and they've been comprehensively outplayed, to be honest.
Back over the boundary line. And another throw in. And that's how you can watch the footy at KG5 if you want, or you can roll in on your bike. And there is a beautiful new grandstand here as well, so if you like it a little more salubrious, you can go and sit in the refurbished Creswell-Beakley stand as well. Here's Sweeney for Glenorchy. Hand pass to Matthews. Matthews comes more centrally now. He wants Crouch, who takes the mark. Gets his hand pass off to Cox. They're running in waves now, Glenorchy. This is better. There is a free kick going to go the way of Glenorchy here inside the 50 for some holding on, and it's David Hunt getting set to line up for goal. So this would make the margin only a couple of straight kicks, and as Andy Bennett said moments ago, Glenorchy being outplayed, but if they can bang on a quick couple, they're right back in it. The lot rests with David Hunt here. He's kicked 1 goal, 1 this afternoon, Hunt. Really regulation stuff for a guy who plays forward all the time. It's a bit of a helicopter, didn't have the carry in the end and punched over the line. So down to Cameron Thurley perhaps on the boundary line, and Thurls, that didn't even make the distance. That wind must be quite strong.
Tricky breeze here at KG5. It's a really swirly breeze, so sometimes it's right at your back and then other times it's over your right shoulder. So, but David Hunt is normally a fantastic kick, so he'll be looking to do a better job next time.
So Murphy from the kick in, played onto himself. It's got to the centre wing position, picked up though by Sweeney. Good tackle, holding though. It's a throw paid by the umpire. Will advantage be played? No, the ball will be brought back. So North Launceston keeping that intensity up. Glenorchy just coming back in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, even Ben Sweeney, at least he took them on and charged at the ball. Oh, he's gone here.
Oh dear, and he could be made to look a bit foolish from that attempted play on. Unfortunately, he slipped, and they're quick to get on with play here, Glenorchy. Brian Webb now kicks it inside 50, on the lead and in front. Couldn't quite take the mark. Could be a free kick to Darcy for a push, though.
Doesn't look confident, though, does he? He's going to ground, putting one hand up. He hasn't clicked into top gear at all.
But playing in front, he's got the resultant free kick for Glenorchy.
Yep.
And let's see if he can have his kicking beat on this time. The distance shouldn't trouble him. And we might be seeing a 50-metre penalty here. I didn't quite pick up what that was for, but I dare say he'll make the distance now, Andy.
I think he might, even with this win. But this will come back. Ben Sweeney's second effort, he got held up in the ball, gave away the free kick. I was really impressed the way he got back into it.
So Darcy slots home 2 in a row for Glenorchy.
And that's the important part, isn't it? They've struggled for any real period of dominance. They did in that first quarter. They had a little bit of when David Hunt was on fire there for 5 minutes or so up in their forward line. Let's watch it here. He only goes one hand, but the push is there. No need to do it. Just lack of discipline. The ball had spilled free. But that's one each. That's one each. North Launceston got one through Crawford from a poor discipline, and now it's been repaid. Darcy's got one. Might lift his confidence.
So 11 points the margin now in favour of North Launceston. And Glenorchy working its way back in with some good tackling and pressure, but it's O'Sine clearing for North Launceston. Hodge. He's reading the game nicely back there, Jade Hodge. And his kick in the Cox direction. Young went a bit early. A good mark taken by Cox.
Haven't seen enough of him either.
Glenorchy with 2 goals in a row for the first time this afternoon, and that is poor play, lack of communication from Parker and Hodge. Allows North Launceston in. In the end, McLean checked the kick. Stewart had it for a moment. O'Sine, Young, gets his hand pass back to Murphy. Quieter in this term, Zane Murphy. Wager, Viney, they've got some run and overlap and some good finishing right in front of the eyes of Darren Crawford.
There you go. You get your best players involved. O'Sine, Crawford on the end of it, Murphy, Wager, you get a result. That's why they're the good players.
And at this level of football, turnovers can be so costly, Andy, and we've seen it here. And Darren Crawford shooting at his 4th goal for the match so far.
He read the breeze beautifully last time, Rick. This time, from a slightly different angle. He comes out. He hasn't hit that well at all. It won't have the carry. Oh, great mark taken by McLean under pressure in the goal square.
Just read it better. Just understood with that breeze it was always going to drop shorter. Now everyone's standing back waiting to go for the big fly and thump. Well, he caught that standing on the ground.
They cannoned into him and he stood firm. Andrew McLean averaging 8 marks a game, and he's on the board this afternoon, and that margin back out to 17 points.
Well, the 36 years of age doesn't seem to trouble him too much. He's a highly effective player for North Launceston. In the ruck a moment ago, there was a consummate bit of that when they won that centre break a moment ago. Beautiful tap, and he's pushed forward there. I don't know whether they're resting there or he's just ran forward to make an extra tall man in the square. That's his first goal, and he certainly earned his pay, or his whatever they do after the game. He's earned it so far.
Tim Hazel's got an injury report for us.
A couple of injury reports, Alistair. Nightingale had his eye looked at. Just a little nick, has been bandaged up. He'll be right to come on. Parker has come off holding his wrist, and he's in the hands of the trainers as we speak. I'll keep you updated, boys.
Spencer gets the tap of the ball wrapped up in the centre of the ground at the moment, and we'll see another bounce. Just ticked over 18 minutes in the second term.
He's enjoying himself.
Zane Murphy cracking a bit of a joke out there, I think, Andy. Great to see players enjoying themselves and a bit of banter out there. We need characters in the game. A big thump by McLean forward. Opportunity, though, for Rainbird to pick up. He gets a handball over the top. David O'Gary bursts through the centre of KG5 to set up. Oh, terrific mark.
Terrific. Absolutely. Nearly the hardest mark to take in football. Full ball at the ball. With opponent right on your backside. That's really hard. He's got wonderful hands.
He's done well there, David Hunt.
And he just attacks it hard, you know. He's just reliable, that always presents.
So can he finish off the good work and answer North Launceston's goal? It'll be a great comeback to do that. It's David Hunt will kick from just inside 50 for the Magpies. He walks in, gets pretty close to the man on the mark. It's going to go to the right. It's not a good kick, and that's gone out of bounds on the full. Disappointing effort. Seemed to get a bit too close. Didn't look confident coming in, Andy.
No, I think the wind gets it into the actual technical part of it between hand and foot, but also gets into your head, you know. Where do I have to push? Where should I be aimed? Becomes far more complicated. That's a terrific mark. Pity he didn't look, and the defender did everything right.
Now, I don't know what's going on. It looks like it might be a free kick coming to Matthew Viney at around 30 metres out. Something's happened off the ball there. So Matthew Viney will take the resulting free kick.
Just a little push and shove, boys.
Nothing wrong with that, Tim. As Viney gets a long kick out of defence. At the back, Bowden's lurking for Glenorchy. Tracks it towards the boundary line, and in the end, he and the footy has seen over, and it may be a free kick here to Bowden for one in the back. It will be.
It's a little bit scrappy at the moment. Game sort of lost a bit of intensity.
50 metres as well. So Jay Bowden, who's a very, very good kicker of the football, will now be within range, although he is kicking into that, right into the teeth of that strong breeze. Still, Jay Bowden, you would think, should be able to slot the goal from here. He kicked 5 last week, Bowden. No real impact this afternoon so far. Bowden comes in, and it's infected him as well. So Jay Bowden just registers 1 behind in the margin, 16 points.
So Zane Murphy kicks to himself. Doesn't quite know what to do, but he gets around his opponent very well in Bryce O'Gary. Gets the ball over the top, looks for his teammate. He's found Osine, and Osine's off. He has a bounce. Got a bit of pace about him, Osine. A secondary bounce. He'll kick it towards half forward for North Launceston. Only goes as far as Jade Hodge, and he gets the ball down towards half forward and repels that as Glenorchy move back into attack. Over the top, taking the mark almost was Bowden for Glenorchy. Couldn't hold on to it. The ball was hemmed in there a little bit at the moment, and it has got a bit scrappy the last few minutes, Andy, as the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, the wind, I think, will be contributing to that, but I want to go back. Jade Hodge has been outstanding, hasn't it? She attacks the ball with real intent. Like him.
So Glenorchy attacking. They need to get some reward for their work, though, and that is belted back towards the boundary line. Just kept in. Anthony Viney there for North Launceston. Plenty of Vineys running around this afternoon for the Bombers. Fuchs gets his kick forward for Glenorchy. Big punch at the back. Bowring got his hand pass clear. Bowden wants to set something up. Goes inside 50. Shaw at the back with a good punch. Almost gathered it too, Shaw. Hunt goes in hard. Good work. And he's at least had a little win there, David Hunt, by locking the ball up inside attacking 50.
Glenorchy have been better on just making it a contest. There's more one-on-one. We haven't seen Murphy out running free or Wager running free as we did earlier in the game.
25 metres out from the Glenorchy goal. McLean palmed it down towards the boundary line. Picked up by Bowring, somehow walked through them, takes a shot at goal, and it's another behind to Glenorchy.
They've had their chances. They'll take heart out of that. They're on top in terms of possession, but you've got to get the score on the board.
I think Bowring got a bit of a surprise. He had a bit more time than he thought, I think, and perhaps could have walked in then. But Matthew Viney gets the kick, and it goes a long way too. That's a good 60-metre kick out of defence there. But Glenorchy will get the ball over the top. Spencer has it. Gets the handball off, but Glenorchy come inside 50 towards full forward again. But this time the mark in front taken by Matthew Young.
I think we've had a clash.
So we might have a couple of injuries. We'll get Tim to watch out for that one as the ball comes out towards half-back for North Launceston and out of bounds.
It's Hunt, and
Hunt a little bit slow to get up there as McLean comes off for a rest. 23 minutes gone. It's a 15-point lead to North Launceston. Hunt still looking at that shoulder. Matthews now has the ball for Glenorchy. Can't get onto that left foot, but his right foot's effective towards half forward. Tapped away there, a chance there for Stubbs for North Launceston. Couldn't pick it up. Good tackle coming there from, I think it may have been Murphy again. Bryce O'Gary gets a handball out there, finds Bowring for Glenorchy. Back to O'Gary, who gets the ball well smothered there for North Launceston, and the ball out of bounds right on the 50 for Glenorchy as we're approaching 24 minutes in the second term on a beautiful afternoon here in Hobart. And it's North Launceston who've made the trip down, 15 points to the good.
Littlejohn took it nicely off the pack. Good kick to Cotton. Takes the mark. North Launceston kicking with the breeze. Cotton to Crawford. Got one hand to it. Muir at the back for Glenorchy. He'll be pretty happy with that in the end, Dan Muir. There's Darren Crawford, who kicked some big bags last season, and there's the man marking him at the moment, Dan Muir. It's a 15-point margin in favour of the Bombers. Spencer Matthews tried hard for Glenorchy. Wanted Bowring. Bowring knocked off it. Well done, Matthew Viney. Gets one high.
He's been very good. Viney.
To Littlejohn. Littlejohn loads up on the left, into the pocket. Good mark taken by Cotton.
He's improved in that area, hasn't he? You know, we were critical of him last year, getting his hands on so many and just dump them, drop them, but it was terrific.
He wanted to give it off. You could see it in his eyes, and he's kicked it straight to David Hunt, who's decided to try and get some kicks in defence now.
The ball comes over the top. Fuchs has it now for Glenorchy. Patrolled there by Murphy. Gets his handball off, though, and the ball will come forward for Glenorchy. Inside 50, but poor kick, and Matthew Young takes the resulting mark for North Launceston. And we've got another 50, I think, encroaching over the mark.
They're consistent on it.
They have been consistent. We've seen a few 50-metre penalties this afternoon.
He's been good, Matthew Young, getting back, filling the hole.
And that's a decent 52. Matthew Young dishes it off quickly, and the kick coming from Littlejohn inside 50, but it's a poor kick, and the mark taken by the big ruckman in Spencer for Glenorchy, and he'll repel the North Bombers attack. So the ball now just on the defensive 50 for Glenorchy, and the mark taken by Muir, and he kicks it into the centre of the ground, making a lead. Can't take, crashing into the back. The umpires missed that one, I think. And here comes a chance now for North Launceston through Viney. Gets the kick to half forward. 2-on-1 though for Glenorchy. The ball comes out from David O'Gary. Could have been taken high there. The North Launceston play wasn't play on. The ball now with Fuchs. Gets a handball there to Cox. And Glenorchy a chance to set up again.
Webb just with persistence. Then the soccer into the pocket. Potter edged out his opponent. Took the mark. I think he's been sprung. And he kicked the goal on the left boot as well. So that's a double blow for Glenorchy. The best finish of the quarter at that end of the ground. And it'll count for nothing. The youngster has to trudge up the field. And it'll be North Launceston now with a free kick between wing and half forward.
What do you think, Rick? Guest umpire?
Look, that to me was probably a little bit soft, I thought, Andy. He could have thought he was paid the mark then and played on. But anyway, you've got to look at where the umpire's signalling.
Murphy in the Cotton direction. Cotton presents big punch again from Hodge. Well done. Follow up from Littlejohn. Flying shot at goal across the face and one behind.
Just a long time since their last score. I haven't tracked that in here, but a long, long time. We're 27 minutes in. I think we're a good 10 minutes or so.
We haven't seen a goal for exactly 10 minutes, but it was McLean.
The mark taken by Rainbird for Glenorchy. He comes back across the face of goal. Doesn't find his player on the chest. The pressure coming from North Launceston forwards. They know it's late in the quarter, but the mark comes out to David O'Gary. He'll set up now with a big kick out towards the wing position, and that's a good mark there taken, I think, by Chandler. Quick play on for Glenorchy. They want to try and get a score before half-time. But the punch away again, Young doing well in defence, Matthew Young. And there's the siren for half-time here at KG5. And at half-time, North Launceston enjoying the supremacy at the moment. A good lead, a good half for North Launceston. They'll be well pleased with that. Glenorchy certainly had their fair share of the ball, Andy, in the last 10 minutes, but not really putting any pressure on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. They've won the last 10, 15 minutes of that quarter comprehensively. It was all down their end, but they just couldn't convert. Bowring missed, Hunt missed, and they've only kicked 4 goals. You know, they've got to outscore. If you just do the numbers on that, they've got to outscore their opponents by at least 4 goals. In the second half, and you just sort of can't see how they're going to get that. They just can't kick the goals, basically, can't get free possession close to goal. They really need Bowring and Bowden and Cox and Parker. They need more from their better players. We saw a bit of Bowring, occasional Bowden, nothing of Cox, and Parker is really struggling, I think, for fitness. O'Gary's been pretty good. I reckon their best player actually has probably been Matthews. He just keep working out. One thing that Ben Reid would be happy about, they made it more one-on-one. They got a couple of tackles to stick, so that's good. North Launceston dominated the first bit of it, and they'll be pretty, but didn't score enough. They'll be pretty happy to be in front by the margin they are.
So Glenorchy with 2 goals, 4 in that term, and North Launceston 3 goals, 3. The margin 16 points in favour of the Bombers at half-time. Let's leave our match at KG5 for a moment and check out what's been happening in the other leagues around Australia.
Bottom of the table, Perth hosted the Swans in round 6 of the Waffle, with the visitors racing to the early advantage, courtesy of Justin Simpson. The Demons steadied.
This bounces into the square. They should stop the one here, and I think they have.
and grew in confidence as Matthew Ferguson's second gave them a goal lead at quarter time. Perth's aggression continued in the second quarter as Dane White snapped truly before Tom Roach produced some clever juggling skills to get the Swans back into the contest. Ash Hansen was given the easiest of goals to reduce the margin to 3 points ahead of half-time. The Swans struck first in the third quarter.
Deft hands by Cracker on to Cole Reevy with a perfect finish.
Before Andrew Cracker showed some of his old magic and capitalised. The Demons wouldn't give up without a fight, Ashley Smith reducing the margin to 11 points at the final change. With the match up for grabs, Smith kicked his second before Justin Bollenhagen got the Demons on a roll.
This to give the Demons the lead.
A fairy tale win for the Demons quickly wiped as Hansen kicked his fifth and the Swans recorded a 16-point victory. Matthew Ferguson booting 4 for the Demons while Ash Hansen finished with 5 for the Swans. In other round 6 matches, East Fremantle had a big win over the Bulldogs. Subiaco had a 25-point win against East Perth, while in the top of the table clash, Claremont remained undefeated, downing the Falcons, and Peel had the bye. To the ladder, and Claremont sit on top from West Perth, the Sharks and the Swans making up the top 4. Subiaco sit outside only by percentage from the Royals and the Bulldogs, with the Thunder a game further back while Perth remain on the bottom. North hosted Glenelg on Saturday and the first was a quarter of 2 halves. The Tiger racing out to a 4-goal lead before some brilliance from Michael Wunke kick-started the Roosters.
Somehow the ball came out and it's dribbled through for a goal.
3 points the difference at first change. It was goal for goal in the second, Kane Tenace booting his second for the Tigers, while at the other end the home side had all the running to lead by 2 goals at the main break. The arm wrestle continued in the third, but poor goal kicking ensured neither team was able to break away. A late Mark Ruwalk goal seen the Tigers trail by 5 points with a quarter to play. The final term was a war of attrition, both sides throwing themselves into the contest as the Tigers gained the ascendancy.
Grima kicks the goal and they're in front by a point to base.
When Josh Trembath kicked his first goal in league footy, they led by a goal before North had several chances to win the game.
Teely, can he kick a goal? Teely pops it up, he's missed again.
The Roosters unable to find the major opening as the Tigers held on to win a classic. The Roosters with only a single goal after half-time as the Tigers finished the stronger to win by 3. The Dogs faced the Double Blues on Anzac Day and the signs were bad for the reigning premiers from the outset, with Brant Chambers in irresistible form.
That's the record. And Brant Chambers becomes Sturt's all-time leading goal kicker.
The Sturt star booting 4 in the first term to see his team lead comfortably at the break. The rout continued in the second, Chambers adding his 5th before 2 late goals to Central trimmed the margin to a slightly more manageable 39 at the half. The home side tried to lift in the third, Ian Callanan everywhere as he worked hard both without the ball and in front of goal.
Callanan outside 50, goes long and straight.
But they had no answer for Chambers, his 6th seeing Sturt lead by 7 goals going into the last. It was a procession in the final term, the Double Blues not letting up as it rained goals at Elizabeth, Sturt leading all day to win by 67 points. A dirty day for the Dogs, finishing with just 8 majors between them, while Chambers booted 6 for the Double Blues. In other games, Norwood proved too strong for Port, South beat the Eagles by 22 and West had the bye. To the ladder and the Eagles lead on percentage from Glenelg, North and Central, with Sturt making up the top 5. South are just outside, then it's West, Norwood and Port. Coburg played the first game at their brand new Craigieburn facilities in round 3 and got off to the ideal start through James Lawton before some brilliance from Relton Roberts doubled their advantage.
Roberts kicks it from the middle. Is it going to bounce through? I think he has. What an incredible goal.
3 in a row to the Hawks into the win, seeing them hold a 5-point advantage at the first change. The strong breeze again proved no barrier in the second, Coburg kicking 5 goals into the teeth of the Gale to charge to a 24-point lead. The Hawks hit back through Sam Gibson before Jared Morton paid the price for keeping his eyes on the ball.
Kicks it long, Morton, courage. That is courage. He knew the cavalry was coming.
His teammates rallying to boot 2 more for the term and trailed by just 5 points at the half. The contest remained intense in the third as Box Hill began to get on top. Bo Muston impressive from the middle.
Bo Muston has smacked this a mile. What about that?
The Hawks big man proving it was no fluke by doing the same thing minutes later to hand the home side a 10-point buffer at the last change. The final term was a classic as the teams traded goals. Coburg taking the lead before the Hawks snatched it back.
Is Smithwick just gets it back.
When Luke Bruce kicked his fifth, it looked like the game was over. But Damien Rayson kept the Tigers' hopes alive before Dean Polo marked in the dying moments and had the chance to win it.
After 33 and a half minutes, he's got the goal.
The Tigers hanging on in a thriller at their new home ground. Mitch Morton and Jake King booting 3 each for Coburg, while Bruce 5 weren't quite enough for his side. In other round 3 action, Geelong smashed Frankston. Williamstown went down in a thriller to Sandringham. The Roosters lost their first game of the season to Casey. Collingwood went down to the Bombers. Werribee and the Gold Coast played out a draw, and Port down the Bull Ants by 5. To the ladder, and only Sandy remain undefeated with 6 teams next at 2-1. Geelong are just in the 8, a game further back on percentage, with 4 teams outside on 1 win, with Werribee and the Gold Coast sharing the bottom thanks to their draw.
T-minus 40 seconds, everything looks good.
Have you ever dreamt of going somewhere special? Somewhere far from the crowds? Off the beaten track? How about off-world?
Pack your suitcase and don't forget your camera for a voyage that's beyond your wildest dreams.
Time to sit back and relax for the best part of 10 years.
A breathtaking new series from acclaimed documentary maker Richard Smith.
Hi, Mom. Here I am at Saturn's Rings. It's great.
Prepare for a truly fantastic voyage.
Liftoff.
Voyage to the Planets. Coming soon to ABC One.
From ABC Books, A Pressure Cooker Saved My Life by ABC newsreader Juanita Phillips. A practical guide on how to have it all, do it all, and keep it all together. From ABC shops, centres, and ABC Shop Online.
This statement will either fill you with terror or delight. From the creators of the League of Gentlemen.
Come, look! Look at it!
I got your letter, Jolly.
I know what you did. What's it mean? What did you do?
What is it?
It's them.
And as I always say, you've got to split the pot to get the peas out.
Think.
Psychoville. Watch it if you dare. Wednesday, ABC One.
If Kyoto 2 becomes reality, everything the West stands for dies.
We are standing on the very edge of history.
The world economy hangs on the price of oil.
Ask Mac, he knows.
All right, and I trust you over him.
What else aren't you telling me? Do you know what we get if we lose this battle? Socialism. I want some.
The crash is coming.
God bless global warming.
Burn Up, 8:35 tomorrow.
Don't miss it. It promises to be a must-see morning.
Welcome back to KG5 at Glenorchy. It's not a pretty picture for the Magpies at the moment. North Launceston leading the game by 16 points. The Bombers really good in the first term. Glenorchy worked its way back in that term a little, but it was fairly scrappy, Benno.
Very scrappy. The game I enjoyed the game in the first quarter. Good quality, particularly from North Launceston. Their ability to win the ball deep in defence and run it upfield. Good skills, good pace, good tackling. Things you would expect from a good side. They started the second quarter that way, but then Glenorchy strangled them a bit. I think the wind kicked up and made it a bit scrappier, and Glenorchy dominated, but they just couldn't get the score on the board at Alistair.
Let's check in with a couple of other scores from around the south, where the other 2 games are being played this afternoon, with a game to be played in Devonport tonight, of course, and it's Launceston obviously playing some good footy against North Hobart at North Hobart Oval. That's a 9-point margin. I think what we do see a lot in this competition, Benno, is we see how difficult teams find it to perform at the same level every week. We saw Launceston last week completely outplayed by Devonport. I think the Magpies had a 25-odd scoring shots to about 10 or 11.
Yes.
And then this week we see Launceston against a team the calibre of North Hobart leading at half-time.
Yeah, you've got to think, in regards to that game, one of the questions to ask is what North Hobart were travelling really well. You know, they won their first 3 games. They actually played pretty well against Clarence last week, and if they'd kicked straight, they could have won that. So you start to think, you know, what impact that has on how they're feeling about themselves. Often, I've coached in this situation, you're on a roll, you lose a game, and you just, the little bit of belief you need, or the belief you need to work at your hardest and your best, which is where you need to get that consistency from, which is what you're talking about, might fall off. And that may be the case. We haven't seen we've only seen the score, but it might be that case. On the other hand, though, I think Launceston are better than they've shown.
Still a half to go, of course. Let's check out the score in the match between Burnie and the Tigers. And Hobart, after its first win last season, we saw that game on ABC One. They've got a 10-point lead at half-time over Burnie, and it'd be a nice day to be up at the TCA as well, I reckon. Although that breeze might be a little bit of a problem if it's causing havoc here, Benno.
Yeah, it would be. And I was amazed by that stat you called before. That it's the first time Burnie's gone to play at the TCA. And it is a quirky ground. It's different. I love going up there when the weather's great. But they would have had to taken a bit of time to adjust to that. It's really important from Hobart's point of view, I guess, that they back up that terrific win, I thought, last week against Lauderdale with a strong performance today. And it looks like they're going to deliver just that.
Half-time at KG5, the margin 16 points in favour of North Launceston. Let's venture outside and see Tim Hazel.
Thanks, Alistair. I'm down here with the Glenorchy president, Steve Alley. It's a windy, breezy KG5, but you've got a fantastic grandstand. Congratulations on the launch in February.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. We're very excited about it, and already it's proving a success for us. And it's a very special venue for us, yeah.
Now, next stage, lights. Have you got some approval yet?
Well, yes, we got approval from both major parties and the Greens, in fact. So we got approval from all three prior to the election. So the funding has been approved to the extent of $650,000.
Seems like Glenorchy's doing something right in the statewide league football competition.
Well, if you can kick goals off the field, I guess you could say we're kicking goals off the field, yeah.
Now, also another venture, the SFL has moved their headquarters here. They're also going to be playing their qualifying finals, grand final. That's just a really feather in the cap for this ground as a representation of Tasmanian football.
Yeah, it's a real credit to the club, the fact that the SFL saw that it was worthy of moving their grand final, their semi-final and their interstate game to KG5. As you can see, the surface is great. We've now got terrific facilities with the grandstand as well. So, yeah, it's a great facility.
Now, can we get bigger grandstands so we can stop this breeze?
That'd be great, wouldn't it? If you could have a grandstand all around the ground, but even with bigger grounds, you get a gap in between the grandstands and the breeze gets through. So there's not much you can do about the breeze, unfortunately.
Now, the statewide competition, obviously last year was very successful. You didn't win the title. This year, Ben Reid, his boys, they've come out and they want to win. They're hungry.
Oh, they're certainly hungry, and we're grooming a lot of young players this year, which has been good. I think Ben mentioned we only had about 6 players out from the grand final side a couple of weeks ago, so it just augurs well for the future for us. And once these youngsters get some games under their belt, we're going to be even stronger.
It seems like Glenorchy, they're a powerhouse off the field. You've got fantastic junior development. Is that something that the club really focuses on?
Oh, there's no question. It's the most important aspect of any club. If you can develop your juniors and they come through to your senior side, well, obviously you've got a great future. We had a stage there where we won 4 out of 5 under-19 premierships, and those players are now playing senior football for us, and that's what the club's about. If we can develop our homegrown players, they play for the jumper more so than money, and that's what I think is pretty important.
Well, it sounds like you've got all your stuff happening off the field. Let's hope you can turn it on the second half of the game. Congratulations on the grandstand. All the best for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. And, yeah, let's hope the result turns around from the half-time score, yeah.
Steve Alley, the president of Glenorchy, there with Tim Hazel. It is a good-looking new grandstand. The mayor of Glenorchy, our old colleague, Chris Smythe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure he had a hand in that. Well, there could be an opening there with, I think, Adriana Taylor involved in an election at Elwick this weekend, so maybe Smythe can.
Be out there shaking, be around this ground somewhere shaking hands. He'll become knocking on the door in a minute, I would imagine. But I went into I had the first chance to have a look at the new grandstand, and it's impressive. But what's really impressive from a player's point of view, down the space and the more professional setup they've got underneath. It was delightful. They could really warm up well, run longer distances, good quality, terrific. And I agree, Glenorchy have been outstanding and keep pushing their case forward, keep lifting their standards.
It's good to see there is some money floating about for local football, not just AFL. We're seeing government money for lights here. There was some government contribution to the grandstand as well, I'm led to believe. And then North Hobart now in line for some lights potentially as well, if they can get it through council.
Yeah, and just a week ago we were down at Lauderdale where there was good state government, and I think local government money went towards that.
Largely Clarence Council.
Largely, so that's terrific. You're right, because you've heard me say this before. I'm a real believer in the value that football clubs or any really sporting organisation, but particularly my heart's with football, adds to the local community.
16 points is the margin in favour of North Launceston at half-time, and they led it by 11 at quarter-time. Glenorchy had some opportunities to score in that term and make that margin a little less, but they were kicking into a fairly nasty breeze, and just looking out the window, Benno, it looks like it's gusted up again, so Glenorchy will be kicking with the wind in the third term. Darcy's kicked 1, Bowring 1, Crouch and Hunt. Crawford with 3, and he could have kicked a couple more as well. 3 goals, 2 for Crawford. Wilmot with a couple. He's done some nice things. Viney and McLean as well. And the highlights, let's take a look at a few of those in a moment. Or will we go to stats? Let's take a look at the stats first. And 11 possessions to David Hunt. He's presented really hard for Glenorchy. He's battling extremely well for the Magpies. Matthews with 13 was particularly good in that term. Bowring with 11, as well as Spencer. 9 to David O'Gary. Only 7 for Bowden, so they'll be hoping he can get his hands on the footy a lot in the second half. Crawford with 6 marks, 3 goals, 2. Murphy, 16 possessions, but he had 10 of those in the first quarter, so they've locked him up a little bit in the second. Wilmot with 7, 8 to Cotton, and Cotton's looked okay. He's presenting well as well, and Ben, I think you said he's holding his marks a little better than perhaps last season. Yeah, he is, and that's important because they actually haven't rucked him at all. In previous years, they've tried to push him to ruck, but they don't with McLean doing the most of the work there. So if he's going to play a permanent forward, he has to take the marks. He has to present and grab them. So here's Crawford on the receiving end that time from a pretty good kick under pressure from Littlejohn, and Bowring afforded any space and he'll often make you pay, and that's a neat check side from Jonathan Bowring. Darcy, he's trying, but he just hasn't quite looked like it at state league level yet. He did kick 3 last week, but before that he has struggled to have an influence. McLean looks pretty happy with that result there. Possessions now for Glenorchy, 128 rather, to North Launceston 130, and the marks 38 to 32 in favour of North Launceston. That's an interesting one, because remember at the end of the first quarter there was a real gap in that, and that was because North Launceston were using the ball much better. Somehow Glenorchy, the Bombers have dropped off in that area, or Glenorchy been able to put enough pressure on, and that's evened up. Centre break 6 to 4, so still reasonably even there, and the hit outs 12 to 8. So McLean just getting on top in the ruck. Let's get down to the boundary and see if our men down there, Tim Hazel and Cameron Thurley, had any joy getting an ear over the coaches at half time. Down to you, boys.
Yeah, thanks, Alistair. Look, we snuck into the Glenorchy rooms and Ben Reid was pretty focused on discipline being predicted, because that's what they're not doing at the moment, Cameron.
Yeah, he's very straightforward about their midfield working a lot harder. They need to get blokes like Cox into the game. Crouch needs to start finding a little bit more of the footy, and to get their running game going, and then obviously delivering it to their forward line.
I want to ask you about Jesse Crouch, because he seems to be carrying a knee injury. Is that something that you've heard within the statewide rumours?
Yeah, over the pre-season, he badly bruised his knee, which can be quite painful at times. So he's certainly his preparation coming into this game was limited. So, and he's finding his feet in his first game.
North Launceston, Shane Wager, Zane Murphy was a little bit quiet then, but he's just providing drive and he's driving power within his kicks. That's got to be crucial, especially coming into the third quarter. Yeah, especially with this breeze. If they can get players behind the footy and run it out by hands and then deliver to their forward line, it's going to be hard for Glenorchy to come back from here. If you were playing, and you did last night and you had a fantastic win again, what would be your message to the players for the North Launceston colours? Especially out of defence, you've got to switch the ball on this ground, especially with the breeze, and that's the way you can attack your forward line and get easy shots on goal. Paul Atkins, he seems like a fantastic coach. He's just the way he delivers his messages. He would have been pretty focused on saying, just keep being predictable. Yeah, first road trip, it's tough. They've got a young group, so as long as he can keep saying the same message over and over again, they'll follow it, and they're doing really well. Alistair, it's going to be a fantastic third quarter. The breeze is still sort of floating across towards the scoreboard. Look out, Zane Murphy, if he gets a hold of one, it's going to go for a mile. Certainly is. Thanks to Tim Hazel and Cameron Thurley, and I look forward to seeing that. He has got a wonderful left boot, Zane Murphy. Margin 16 points as we start the third quarter from KG5. Big arm thrown at it by McLean. Young, Osine, tunnels in, and surely gets a free kick for one high against Bowring. Alan Osine to McLean. McLean back to Murphy.
Not a good kick from Murphy this time. Didn't quite hit it so well, but Crawford's dangerous. He gathers. He needs to get rid of it. Good tackle, Muir. And it falls for the Glenorchy defender in O'Gary. David O'Gary's hand pass missed the target. Had to go back, win his own football. Cox on his left boot. Mark dropped by Young. Crashing in hard for Glenorchy was Fuchs. Murphy's got it. Oh, that was casual as you like, but the handball missed the target. Child, hand passed. Sweeney cut it off, and Sweeney acts a high kick forward.
Down to centre half forward there, all coming around. Two North Launceston players spoiling each other there, but eventually it comes down to Matthew Young, and the ball kicked by Matthew Viney now. Out in space in the wing position, O'Sign can't gather it though. He's collected beautifully there by Rainbird. Good tackle, and the decision is a throw. Very good tackle there by Matthew Rainbird. O'Sign just couldn't get his hands on the ball there, Andy.
No, not clear. Good pressure. There's been a couple of instances where Glenorchy obviously improved their tackling pressure, but certainly not in that case their kicking skill.
Terrible kick from Rainbird to Murphy. Gets onto that left foot in the Cotton direction, out in front. Couldn't hold on to it. Sweeney there for Glenorchy gets a handball. Can't find his teammate there in Jade Hodge, and the ball trickles out of bounds. The attacking side of the ground for Glenorchy. McLean coming down to do the ruck contest with Spencer. 16-point lead to North Launceston, early going in the third term. Ball up there, chance there for Rainbird, couldn't get his hands on the ball, and the ball bottled in, penned in. Good tackle coming from Bo Thorpe, and we'll have a ball up much in the same spot as where that boundary throw-in came into.
North Launceston somehow have to find a way to get back to that style of football they played in the first quarter, get their best players free with the ball.
No clear winner of that ruck contest, but Bryce O'Gary emerges. Potter got a hand to it. Matthew Viney taken to ground. Bowden has it. He's skillful. He's dangerous. He shoots at goal, and he gets the perfect start to the second half for Glenorchy.
Yes, perfect start for them. I wrote a note to myself at half-time for Glenorchy to win this. Matthews has been good, but they need to get guys like Crouch, who only had the ball 6 or 7 times in the first half. Bowring, who had it 11 times. Bowden, who had it 7 times, I think, from mine. And Cox, who had it 6 times or thereabouts. They need to get them into the game, and they did on that occasion, and you know why. And therefore you know why you need those best players in the game. They kick goals that others miss.
So Bowden gets a perfect start, reduces the margin to 10 points, his first goal for the afternoon, and we're back in the centre of the ground, and we've got a tight one here at KG5. Bounce favours McLean. He gets the fist on it. Paul penned in there, no chance of the ball breaking free, and we'll see another ball up and getting pretty physical here at KG5. Glenorchy have come out hard.
Oh, look, Ben Sweeney just loves that stuff.
And he's had a few touches early in the third quarter, Sweeney, getting involved. McLean gets a fist, but there's a whistle been picked up by the other umpire, and it's going to go North Launceston's way here. And it's going to come back. I think someone may have been pushed out, and the free kick to be taken here by Ty Stewart for North Launceston. And he kicks it just forward of the centre. Cotton coming at the back, climbs, couldn't gather the ball, picked up there by Bryce O'Gary, can't get rid of it. The ball penned in, going in really hard here. A very physical start to the third term. Glenorchy be happy with this.
Well, yeah, they'd be happy with it. They've kicked a goal and they've restricted the other mob. But in that case, why did he just kick to a pack? You know, it was just, you had to take the risk. You had runners, you had to play on. They've gone back into their shells, North Launceston.
Umpire lays it down. Double fister from Spencer. Sweeney, hand pass, a good one to Nightingale, back on the ground after a problem with his eye earlier. Potter's at the back. Viney, Matthew, under pressure from Bowden. Wager lifts the arms and gives it to Mountney. Young, Matthew Young, got it to Murphy, who's getting a few early touches in the third. He goes in the Wilmot direction, read it nicely. Now he can play on and kick inside 50. Crawford's coming deep onto the chest. It was a beautiful kick and a lovely lead.
See the difference? Play on, move it quickly. Defenders had no chance. Great lead, good kick. Murphy involved. I think we've seen that a few times today.
And when they move the ball quickly,
yes,
Benno, there's often space in the forward line, whereas you look forward into the Glenorchy forward line often and it's fairly cluttered. Plenty of space for Darren Crawford to lead into, and Wilmot's kick was absolutely spot on. Just to make the margin 16 points again. Darren Crawford with 3 goals, 2 for the afternoon. He kicks from 45 metres. This hangs up in the breeze as well and won't make the distance. Adam Viney there. Well done, Hodge. He needs to get rid of it, though. Nightingale gathers down low. Gives his hand pass off to Muir, who elected not to go to O'Gary and probably should have sold himself into trouble. Pressure on Glenorchy here. O'Gary, David gets one high and will take the free kick. But
relief to get out of that.
You've got to go with your first instinct sometimes, Benno.
Dangerously.
So David O'Gary with the free kick comes across the ground, and Glenorchy will move it out towards half-back in the direction of Spencer. Takes a good mark. Simon Spencer. McLean right on his hammer.
9 possessions in the first half. He's improved a bit, I think, this year.
Spencer gets it onto the captain in crouch and gets onto that left foot, kicks it beyond the centre in the direction there of Darcy. Mark not taken, the ball coming over the top now, and an opportunity for Zane Murphy yet again, who gets the kick towards half forward. Caught out behind a little bit, but good punch from Cotton from behind. Crouch tried to get the ball there as well, but coming through the centre of the ground, bursting through the pack there was Stubbs for North Launceston. The ball over the back, Hodge should pick up and gather for Glenorchy. Over towards Bryce O'Gary. And the ball will come out to Matthews, who's been pretty good for them this afternoon.
Yeah, I think he's been their best. I was wondering when I came here today what would happen in the absence of Ben Curley, and Hodge just filled that gap admirably.
That was a good kick. Mark taken by Bowring. Bowring pops it up. Oh, they've got numbers, and again, communication a problem. Neither of them went for it. Potter and Darcy. Darcy hooks one back. Bowden flies. Potter follows up. Fuchs has it. Lost it. Punches it. Wager in trouble. That could be a throw. Darcy gets it for Glenorchy. He's taken down. Good tackling. Now the ball emerges and a chance for Stewart. Although a free kick's been paid, it's advantage. Murphy gets around Sweeney all too easily. He has a couple of bounces. He feigned to give the hand pass to Matthews, sends a long kick forward, and it lands fortuitously in the arms of Young on 50.
Bit of courage involved in that one in the end.
Too far out to score, Callan Young. Cotton presents, and that is just ridiculous that Cotton was able to get 20 metres on Jade Hodge. They knew the kick was coming inside the 50. Thorpe's in over the top for North Launceston. Hodge wraps him up. Will have a bounce on attacking 50.
He's upset with himself because he just had the lead was good, the kick was good. He was just catching it. That's the problem.
Cameron Thurley, it looks like Zane Murphy's just being able to run where he likes at the moment. Is there anyone checking him at all?
Yeah, not at this stage. There's not, which is bad. Not great news for Glenorchy because he's got a fantastic left foot. But I have noticed that I'm not sure whether Paul Atkins has said it at half time, but they certainly play in this grandstand side of the ground, which is able to have some good inside 50s to their forwards, which they need to keep doing.
The ball coming across towards Wager now in the centre wing position. He's got a little bit of time, goes backwards with the handball. McLean gets a little kick out. Might be too wide, could be out of bounds on the full.
So that alludes to the point that Cameron Thurley had. And that side over there, I know, having played here, it's like it just sucks you into the hole, the vortex. You need to really be conscious of bringing it onto the top side, the commentary side of the ground.
I reckon, Benno, if we got a videotape out from about 1993 at KG5, with a game of Glenorchy, and a few of those faces would have been there then too, I reckon, those boys on the hill.
Yeah, even earlier, I reckon.
McLean takes a mark at centre-half back, comes inboard, and the mark taken by Adam Viney for North Launceston at the true centre-half back position. They'll start up again here. They like building up out this side of the ground. The mark taken by Matthew Young for North Launceston. In towards the centre of the ground. Might have left it, kicked it a little bit high there. The mark couldn't be taken. Picked up now by Fuchs for Glenorchy. Gets a handball to Matthews, but a little bit too slick for him. And North Launceston have numbers here. Child with the ball. Kicks it towards centre-half forward. Cotton works his way to the front. Couldn't quite hold on to the mark, but he's going to get the free kick. Advantage paid. North Launceston, opportunity for Young. This way, that way. Swings onto the right foot. Kicks it towards full forward. Coming in and marking Crawford. Takes the mark.
I'll say it again, what I like about him, he doesn't just give one lead. He'll run back into space. He'll run up, create a target and space behind him, and then he'll double back. He doesn't just sit on one lead. He's very active, and he's reaping the rewards. This will be lining up for goal number 4.
Goal number 4 this will be, Andy, and he's worked tirelessly. As you said, he's working so hard in creating positions when the ball is away from him and creating a lot of space and putting a lot of doubt in the Glenorchy defence. Now Crawford should kick this. He's only 15 to 20 metres out, directly in front moves. Goal umpire, a little bit of work to do, but that's a goal for North Launceston. So there's the answer they wanted. They'll be pleased with that. Crawford gets his 4th for the afternoon. And it's a goal apiece here in the opening stages of the 3rd term at KG5.
They'll be very pleased with that because they know that Glenorchy really struggled to score any goals at all down that end in the 2nd quarter. So it's sort of like 1 goal at that end is worth 2 up the other end. You'd expect if they're in control at by this distance, come the last quarter, they're going to be very hard to run down. But it's just a reward for effort. He just kept working, kept running, and he's got good leap, good clean hands, good pace.
Is it a bit of a mismatch, Benno? Muir's got more height than Crawford, but probably not the same amount of pace.
Yeah, if the ball's kicked in long and high and one-on-one, then Muir's got the advantage. But if it's a race, foot race, obviously Crawford's going to win out. And he's kicked 4 goals, so you've got to say.
Easy to say that after he's kicked 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's Murphy. Plenty of the footy this afternoon for Zane Murphy. At the back, Matthews was involved in a foot race with Wilmot, who won it, and spirals one out in front. And the mark taken by Cotton.
Yeah, we like it, because we know how much trouble he's had with it over the years. We've seen him play a lot. And he's just struggled to glove them, catch them cleanly. And he looks like he's much improved.
Just a quick one, guys. There's certainly a momentum change swing here down at down on the ground. Glenorchy, the first 5 minutes really came out hard, but the last couple of minutes, North Launceston looked like they're going to run away with this game.
Just a behind to Justin Cotton, so he's kicked a couple of behinds this afternoon now. Yet to kick a goal, and the margin 17 points in favour of the Bombers.
So Glenorchy bringing the ball back into play, coming out to the outer side of the ground. Up high there was Hodge, couldn't take it. Picked up there by Bowthorpe, getting it inside 50. Cotton seems to have a bit of space again. Good tackle though, and the ball breaks free, and holding on decision here. There was going to be advantage paid. There was no advantage, so it was a good tackle initially, Andy, but obviously held on too long.
He said the ball spilled free and he's held him afterwards. I'd like to see that, because I'm not certain that Joe Cotton, I genuinely didn't see it that well, just didn't drop the ball in front of him.
So another opportunity for Cotton on about a 45-degree angle. Will kick from about 30 metres out. Almost 13 minutes gone, and this will really hurt Glenorchy. Cotton's kick, that looks much better. Straight through the middle, over the goal umpire's head. Cotton gets his first goal for the afternoon, and at the 13-minute mark, it's North Launceston 9-6-60. Out to a 23-point lead, Andy. Glenorchy 5-7-37. They're
looking very good, North Launceston. They've kicked 2 in a row. That look at the end, that looks like it's harder to score. Good thing around that from Cotton. He staged. Well, you know, I don't like it when players stage. I don't think it's really part of the spirit of the game. There's a level of cleverness in it, I guess, but it's not something I really like. Ben Sweeney's pretty hard done by, because he did everything right. The good thing that Cotton did there, he learnt from his previous shot. It wasn't a lot different, but he converted truly this time.
So Cotton now with 5 goals for the season. Parker could have been held in the centre on that occasion. Shaw, the ball beats him, but he's good enough to win it back. He gets his hand pass off to Viney. Matthew Viney clears it out to the outer side. He wants Young, who had to come from too deep. Gathered by Muir. He's under the pump. And it will be a free kick to North Launceston, holding the ball, and it's Littlejohn who emerges. He runs through the set of circles, over the head of Cotton. At the back, it's Stewart this time. He fends off his opponent. Finish it off. The kick was smothered. Cotton's getting back. The ball beats him.
The handball was on. You're right, Joseph. He worked really hard. He'd done everything right, Joe Cotton. Good attack on the ball. The handball had to come over the top. That would have been 3 in a row, and it was just about game over.
Here it is again, Benno. Good work initially to fend off his opponent, or lose his opponent, but there was Cotton over the top. And here is Cotton in ruck. He squirts it out. Parker slaps it in the Hodge direction. There's 3 North Launceston players there. Anthony Viney takes him to ground. Newman worked his way out of the vigorous tackle. Quick hand pass. Bryce O'Gary taken without the footy by Cotton. Crouch finally clears for Glenorchy to the centre, to a 2-on-1 though. Hunt couldn't win it. Murphy comes away. He goes short this time, Zane Murphy. He spots up Stubbs. He gets it back. He takes on Bryce O'Gary. He shakes him. He shoots a goal, and it doesn't have the carry. Sweeney with the defensive mark in the goal square. If anyone was going to kick a goal at that end of the ground, it was Zane Murphy, but even he couldn't penetrate the breeze.
So Glenorchy bringing it out towards the centre wing position. Not a good kick. Chance for North Launceston to propel again moving forward. The resulting kick back into the centre of the ground, and it's marked by Child, or on the centre wing position. Child in beautiful sunshine here at KG5, decides to go long in the Cotton direction again. He's at the front. He's standing tall there at the moment, but the ball goes over the back. Sweeney gathers for Glenorchy. He'll go short. Oh, good smother, and the ball comes back now, this time to Crouch. He's penned in there. There's not a lot of room for him to move, but he gets it out to Matthews with a good kick. Play on, says the umpire, not 15. And Glenorchy, not a good-looking kick. It's going close to the boundary line, and that's a good mark there taken by Stubbs for North Launceston. And they'll build again. Stubbs into the centre of the ground. Murphy in plenty of space. Still has time to turn around and pick it up. He'll go with the right boot. Not quite as good on that one, but still effective. Gives it to Young. Young coming inside 50 again. Looking for Crawford, who's taken the mark deep, low to the ground. Cotton was there as well. They're not getting in each other's way. They're working really well together, Andy.
Yeah, they've got a lot of the ball. Been really effective targets.
Crawford
good athleticism.
Goes short. Not a great kick, though, and we're going to have a turnover. Glenorchy will come away with the ball now, and the kick will come towards the centre wing position for the Magpies. They desperately need a goal here. Bit of holding on going on there, and it'll be a free kick to the Magpies.
I thought that was a pretty clever mark.
Hunt inside the 50, Bowring on the lead, takes the mark on his chest. And to say they could use this is the understatement of the afternoon. John Bowring, who's kicked 1 goal this afternoon, 1 goal, 1. Will have the wind at his back to give the Magpies cause for enthusiasm. It's a dangerous little chip pass to Cox. Why on earth did you not have a shot at goal, John Bowring? Clearing kick from Child. Out to the back flank. Thorpe used his body and took a good mark. Matthews needs to be careful. He'll give away 50. Thorpe. Not a good kick. Falling over Fuchs. Spencer under pressure from Osine. Good tackle. He averages over 5 a game, Alan Osine. Newman. He needs to get rid of it now. Real pressure footy at the moment. They've locked it in on the boundary line. Andy Bennett. What on earth was Jonathan Bowring doing?
I'm just speechless. He's a terrific kick at goal. Distance was never going to be beyond him. Just lack of confidence.
So in the shades of KG5, it's Spencer and McLean going at it again. Spencer just gets the tap. The ball pinned down. Not coming out in a hurry. Adam Viney there at the bottom of the pack. And what will the umpire do? He'll call for a bounce. Middle stages of the 3rd term. A couple of tired bodies getting up off the ground there. It's been a fairly intense 3rd term so far. Good bounce by the umpire. Spencer gets the tap down, favouring Glenorchy, pushing forward a little bit. Chance for Matthews to pick up, tries to burst through, gets the handball out, but not taking it was Webb. And the ball spills to the ground again, and North Launceston will come away. Child has the ball, gets through a lot of space, tries to find his teammate. It's 3-on-1, and I think they're going to get away with it, North Launceston here. Opportunity for O'Gary, but the ball comes off his boot and goes out of bounds.
It's a scary thing when the player comes off the interchange and you have no way of knowing it's coming your way.
And Sweeney's in amongst the action again.
Plenty of fire in this game, boys. Paul Atkins' message to the players at halftime was predictability. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why they're penetrating hard into the forward 50. They're doing it well, North Launceston.
This guy, Spencer, is beginning to get on top of McLean the last 5-10 minutes. Won a couple of really important contests.
Matthews round the back, got the hand pass. Parker, 2 to beat. Over the back it goes. Bowring works his way to the back. He goes to ground though, and Stubbs sees it over the boundary line deliberately, says the umpire.
It's hurt his ankle in there somewhere too, I think.
So
I'll just see that one again.
Jay Bowden, just the man Glenorchy wants to have the footy, and he was clever enough to get himself right near it when the umpire looked up. He'll probably go the check side from here, Jay Bowden. Can he create some magic for Glenorchy to get them back in the game? It goes right across the face of goal into the terraces, and that sums up Glenorchy's afternoon.
He murdered it, didn't he? Missed by a long, long way.
So Matthew Viney waiting for the ball to come back. As Alistair said, it's gone into the terraces. North Launceston enjoying a 23-point lead here, 20 minutes into the 3rd term.
Are all these Vineys related? Are they brothers and a cousin, or are they 3 brothers?
Adam and Matthew are related. So Adam is the younger brother of Matthew.
Yes.
So it's Matthew on this occasion. Good kick outside 50. Ball up there, McLean has it. Good tackle there from Sweeney, and the ball penned in. A lot of strong work from Sweeney this quarter. He's really lifted.
He's had 3 or 4 tackles just this quarter alone. He's done well. He's come back with from a knee reconstruction.
If you'd like to check out highlights from the State League week to week, you can go to our website. If you know anyone interstate who's interested in Tasmanian football and might like to see mark of the day and goal of the day and a few highlights from our match of the day, they can go there, check it out, check out the results. www.abc.net.au/sport/AFL/features. I need a break after that, Brick Fontaine. Back
well
to you.
done, Al. Good job. Matthews has the ball now. Good tackle again. In there is O'Gary, David O'Gary. The ball just not coming through, but I think the umpire may have picked out a free kick here.
I missed all that, Alice. You could just run that through that again for me.
I should be finished by 3/4 time.
I lost you at the W.
So it's Bo Thorpe. Didn't see what the free kick was for, but heavens above, I don't know how he had so much room in the centre of the ground. North Launceston move it easily, and the mark is taken by Hamish Shaw. Well, that was far too easy, Andy.
Yeah, very easy.
And he'll go short, and look at this. Another mark taken, as easy as you like. Moves in and misses the easiest of goals, does Joel Mountney. That's a crucial miss.
Yeah, he had to honour it. You don't get too many chances like that. He just had to grab it. They used the ball well, North Launceston. I think your point, Rick, whether it was too easy is the pertinent one. There wasn't much resistance from Glenorchy at all.
Bowden kicks out of defence and uncharacteristically turns the footy over to this man, Zane Murphy, who's really exerting an influence on the contest. Cotton charges at the footy. Bowden got hands to it for Glenorchy. Sweeney trying hard. Got a hand pass clear to Chandler. That's a good kick. Hunt's got it. Cox is all on his own at half forward. He just needs to get it to him. A little slow, but Cox should still take the mark in front of Viney. He takes on Viney. He goes by hand to Matthews, who followed up and should goal. He swings it back. It's a goal to Glenorchy.
And probably their best. I'm just thinking to myself, I can't remember. Maybe early in the second quarter there was one little bit of play, one little skirrick where Glenorchy ran the ball and used it and shared it around and maybe got the length of the ground or set up a scoring chance. And that's the second one for the day. They've worked pretty hard for most of the game. Good thing here around was Cox was willing to take on his man on the mark. And he's been their best player, Matthews, and that's just reward for effort. He had real confidence to get back on his left foot. And while there's hope, there's a saying in there somewhere. While there's a will, there's hope. Or
while there's life, there's hope, Andy.
That's the one.
18 points the margin here at the 20-minute mark of the third term. Nathan Matthews with his first for the afternoon. A beautiful bounce again. No one gets a tap on that occasion. Goes straight between the ruckman. Going in, crashing through there was Wilmot.
Don't know whether he got him fully, but he did enough to scare him. Matthews had 17 possessions and now kicked a goal.
So it's Zach Webb with the ball. He'll come out wide. And there on his own is Spencer, takes the mark for Glenorchy. Gets the handball on, moving in towards half forward, out on the lead. And the mark taken there for Glenorchy by Cox.
He pushed him deep into the forward line. Started on the wing, didn't get much out of him there. One thing when you go forward, you probably don't need to get the ball as often to be effective.
And the Glenorchy players look a little bit more upbeat, encouraging each other a little bit more.
They just keep hanging on. North Launceston haven't been able to put them away at any stage. They've had their chances, but haven't quite shaken them off.
Mountney's miss could come back to haunt him. Jake Cox, the 20-year-old, been involved with the last goal with Matthews. On the left boot, it's a beautiful lifting kick, straight as a die, over the goal umpire's head. 2 in a row in a couple of minutes to Glenorchy. Jake Cox gets his first goal for the afternoon, and now they're right back into this in the later stages of the third term. Andy Bennett.
2 in a row. I was thinking where they needed to be at half-time, and I was thinking if they can get within 2 goals, maybe 1, they'd have a chance on their home ground. I think he missed him, but the wind sort of knocked him over as he went past. But they set this up pretty well. Bit better ball use in the air in the last couple of stanzas when they've gone forward. And this guy's been good because he's presented. Beautiful kicking action. He does have, that's one thing he does have. He kicks the ball really well.
Just a quick one, Andy. Certainly you can see that Glenorchy have gone a lot smaller in their forward line in this latter part of the quarter. So they've got to hit that lead up, that short lead, and that's what they're doing and able to penetrate the goals.
Thanks to Cameron Thurley on the boundary line. The margin back to 12 points. Here come the Magpies again.
Chase.
That'll be holding the ball, surely.
Great chase. Who's that?
Newman.
Newman, well done. Important.
Matthew Viney to centre half forward. Spencer's best placed here. Needs to take the mark, couldn't. Anthony Viney got the spoil. Chandler, hand pass, out in front of Bowden. Bowden dodges them. Neat kick. Spencer marks on the edge of the centre square, gives back to Bowden. And that's a good kick again. Braden Webb to half forward. Bowring and Darcy and
mark.
Bowring. They've gone up a notch now, Glenorchy.
They've found some skill and run and tried around. T, who's been very important, David Hunt. He's getting a lot of possession. He's playing, he's a big, tall ruckman. He's playing like an extra midfielder, run around. He's had the ball. We'll get his stats in a minute, but he's had it 3 or 4 times in the last couple of minutes, last 5 minutes.
This to make it 3 goals in 4 minutes for the Magpies. John Bowring sprays it badly and just scrapes it in for a behind. The margin back to 11 points. And we may yet have a pretty tight contest here on ABC Grandstand.
The Shane Wager, the captain, will do the kicking in duties.
Spence had 15 possessions. It's the most I've seen him possess the ball in any game I've seen him play, since we've been watching him.
Not a lot of options here for Wager, so he's going to have to go long. Outside 50 for North Launceston. Contest there looked to be a bit of a push out there, and it's going to be a free kick to Glenorchy.
Shane Wager's dropped out of it.
So Matthews takes the resulting handball, kicks it inside 50 again. The chance, but this time going back and taking the mark. Stubbs for North Launceston. Gets the kick out towards O'Sine. He can't grab it. Taken high, surely, but the umpire not paid. He threw it out in the end, but play allowed to go on. Maybe that was a square up. The ball tucked in near the boundary line. Coming out, and was he over the line?
Sort of push
He was over the line before the kick. So it'll be a boundary throw in deep in Glenorchy's attacking zone.
Boys, again, both sides working hard, plenty of rotations. North Launceston have made 13, Glenorchy have made 11.
It's been an intense quarter, and from the boundary throwing, McLean fists it out. Opportunity now presenting for Bowring. He swings around onto the right foot, and there's the siren, and the mark won't count. It was taken by Bowden, but too late, and that's 3/4 time, and we are set for a terrific final term here, Andy. A great finish to the quarter. Glenorchy will go into that huddle with a lot of confidence.
We are. And I was thinking with about 10 minutes to go, this is just going to peter out. North Launceston will slowly just keep adding an occasional goal, and the contest's all gone out of it. The best thing for Glenorchy was somehow they found the confidence and the run and the willingness to play their best football. They didn't just rely on tackling and winning tough contests and pushing it forward. You've got to do that, but it's when you win the ball, you've still got to use it well. The move of Cox forward was really good. Just presented, he had pace. It's the first time Cameron Thurley called it. They went smaller. They lowered their eyes rather than just blasting away when they went into the forward line. And they reap the rewards for that. We do. We have a game on our hands.
Bowden, Bowring, and Cox. Some of their better ball users starting to get their hands on the footy. Yeah, Matthews, another one. So there's the quarter by quarter. 11 points the margin in favour of North Launceston at quarter time. They'd extended it to 16 points at the half, and now the margin back to 11 points again. North Launceston will be kicking with the breeze in the final term, although it seems to have dropped a little bit. All singles for Glenorchy. Darcy, Bowring, Crouch, Cox in that term, Hunt, Bowden in that term, and Matthews as well. And for North Launceston, Crawford. He's looked dangerous all afternoon, Darren Crawford, with 4 goals. Wilmot's got a couple. Adam Viney, Cotton and McLean as well. Matthews, 18 possessions, 5 marks and a goal. A good afternoon for Nathan Matthews. Bowring, 16 possessions. Spencer with 15, 11 handballs. The big man's doing pretty well in there against McLean. Hunt with 13 possessions, and Benno's been really impressed with his work rate today. Bowden with 12, Cox with 9, and David O'Gerry 12. Crouch with 10. Murphy, 26, so another 10 possessions in that term to Zane Murphy, and he spent the last couple of minutes on the bench having a rest. Crawford with 10, 9 marks, 4 goals too. Cotton with 12 possessions, 16 to Child, so a young player who knows how to get his hands on the footy. Wilmot, 10 possessions, Stubbs with 11, as well as Matthew Young and Shane Wager with 12. 5 goals kicked in that term. Glenorchy kicked 3 of them, and North Launceston kicked a couple. Here's Bowden, afforded a little bit of space. He ran away from them. That got them off to a good start. Glenorchy, it made the margin 10 points, but Crawford responded at the other end and restored the 16-point half-time margin. A little bit of holding on, and Cotton, who'd had a couple of shots at goal earlier, he was relieved clearly to finally slot one through. A nice bit of link up here finally from Glenorchy. Cox took the mark. Matthews had kicked it to him and ran on and kicked the goal. And here's Cox low down. good mark and equally good finish. So Glenorchy starting to get a little bit of confidence into its game. Possessions now, 183 possessions to Glenorchy, and for North Launceston, 193. The mark's still 12 in favour of North Launceston. 5 more inside 50s to the Bombers. The hit out 16 to 14. That's been a good duel all afternoon. And the centre breaks now 7-6. A brave man would pick a winner from here, Benno, I think, but we might try and get into the huddle. And our man down there getting pretty revved up is Paul Atkins.
Forwards kick goals. That's our cash cow. Okay? That's part of being an equal working business. We kick goals. Come on. We don't ponce around with it. We kick goals. And then when you bust your ring and get down there, have a shot and finish it off. Really should have finished with you. Running back and kick goals. You know, inside the arc, the rule applies to you as well. Tackles are okay. We're starting on the rat, okay? All right, stoppage is still 5-3. No one's busted the game open there. Perhaps this is the opportunity. That's where the game lies, does it? In close, not snatching at the ball. Nice soft hands and off we move. Okay, here's our lineup. That's us here. Have a look. One more quarter. All happy? Yep. All right. Goal kicking, I just touched on it with you, okay? Ball carrying and bombing. You know, if we're getting untidy kicks going into our forwards that are doing a damn good job to be in front, and all of a sudden we've got floaters coming in, lack of communication, lack of commitment, lack of respect, things that we talk about, aren't they? We've got floating punts going into Crawford and Cotton trying to get their hands on them, not on. If you're going to carry the ball and do the hard thing, finish the skill off. Don't rest on your laurels, okay? Arc and goal ticket and rotations. I don't know what happened then. They went out the window. Got blokes outside of rotations. That's a lack of respect. All right, big word, respect. Here it is, 30 minutes. 30 minutes of the challenge left. Okay, we left in there well, didn't we? Did we leave well or inspired? We don't need to be inspired today because we're here for a challenge. Come on. We spoke about a challenge from Wednesday night on. When you carry the ball, okay, I'll go back to my ball at the start. Carry the ball and kicking it out to forwards that can run onto it. It's simple stuff, lads. It's simple stuff. But that bottom line, okay, this one here, it's centre bounces. Let's go one.
So Paul Atkins pretty fired up. He doesn't sound like a coach that's in front at three-quarter time. He sounds like a little bit of an angry one to me, Benno. And you did see some signs in that term that Glenorchy was starting to get on top in different aspects of the game. He's a little concerned, and he's really imploring his team to get something out of this trip south. And they're well positioned still to do it.
Oh, yes, and he would recognise that, and he just doesn't want the opportunity to slip. It's hard to come to KG5 and win. Glenorchy are always a good side.
Tim Hazel's got one of the Glenorchy assistants, Byron Howard, with him.
I do, Byron. That was pretty intense 3 quarters. This is going to be a huge challenge for you boys.
Mate, it is. We've just got to take them on now, get our hands on the footy and really, attack through this side of the ground. It's obviously a fairly strong breeze, so we've been fairly poor for 3 quarters, mate, and we're still only 10, 11 points down, so we've just got to take them on and take our chances.
Ben Reid said, be predictable.
Exactly, mate. We just want to run and carry the footy, use our forwards. We've got some really good targets down there, so just be smart with the way that we the way that we use the footy.
Thanks, Byron. All the best.
Cheers, Timmy.
Byron Howard there. Kicked a lot of goals playing footy for North Hobart, Byron Howard, and now finds himself on the coaching panel at Glenorchy. And for those who are, well, just enjoying our coverage and don't necessarily follow the footy every week, when they talk about being predictable, it's predictable for your teammates, not for the opposition, of course. 11 points the margin as we start the final term. A quick kick from Bowden, but Wager chops it off. O'Sine goes out to the wing. Sweeney's best placed here, although he lost it as he had to turn backwards. Callan Young was there for North Launceston as well as Wilmot. Young goes in, wins the footy, slung to ground by Fuchs. Crawford and Cotton in front of his teammate in the end and took a really strong mark.
Clean, very clean, eyes on it, confident, stretches high.
I thought for all the world, Darren Crawford well placed here, and then drifting across the front, Cotton.
He's 196 centimetres. If he puts his arms up tall, he's very hard to knock the ball away from.
Played the one VFL game for Tasmania. Now Justin Cotton to give North Launceston some handy breathing space. It's a good kick, and the margin 17 points.
Oh, and that's big. That's big. Glenorchy finished the 3rd quarter full of run and full of the quality football, and probably went into that 3-quarter time feeling pretty upbeat about their chances, and great response from North Launceston. They just not snuffed it out, but they've certainly wrestled back the momentum. This guy's improved enormously, and I reckon it started. Just look at his body shape compared to we've seen him in the last couple of years. He's dropped, I reckon, 5, 6, maybe more kilos, and it's a lot easier to play footy when you're not carrying a big weight around your tummy.
Cotton's second goal for the afternoon, and the margin early in the final term is North Launceston by 17 points. Spencer does battle there in the ruck, gets the tap down, the ball not coming free though, and pinned in. Now we talk about momentum, Andy, but at the three-quarter time siren probably became a bit too quick for Glenorchy.
Yeah, they were up and running, they were going well, and they'd had just 5 minutes of their best footy. However, they've got to reproduce. That's the challenge of the game. You have three-quarter times. So yeah,
just saw a great matchup, Benno, with Bowden on Murphy.
The ball breaking free there. Spencer got the tap out. Comes free now. The chance now for North Launceston to go forward. And they do in front. Cotton's got the ball again. Quick handball over the top. But just hits the post. Unlucky there for Anthony Viney, I think it was on that occasion. Good play again from Cotton. Silky with the handballs.
Very quick out of the middle. They've won decisively a couple of times out of the middle this quarter.
That's a good mark from O'Gary. Sword over the back. Now he kicks to a 2-on-2, and Spencer does well. Takes the mark in front of Hayden Fox, and 50 metres. The ball was knocked away.
It's interesting, though. North Launceston haven't gone with Andrew McLean. They've gone with Hayden Fox, and that's testament to how well this guy did in the latter part of that third quarter.
So Spencer, he's got Darcy and Parker deep. In fact, Cox deep with Darcy. Spencer told to come a little more centrally.
That's a huge 50, boys.
It's a big zone from North Launceston here as well.
Maybe they're making a count for the wind, Tim. Giving them a few extra metres because the wind is so strong. The left foot kick from Spencer won't have the carry. Darcy flies at the front, can't take the mark. Shaw by hand to Wager. And there's a late one. And a free kick going to go the way of...
Against Darcy, he's a bit frustrated. He doesn't get his hands on the ball and thinks he's not having a great game.
Well,
he's trying hard.
Benno, that's not advantage.
It's a 50.
It's a 50. Well, yeah. But that's, you can see it in him. He wants to do better. He knows he's having a struggle. He's trying hard, but you've got to temper that with a bit of common sense.
Hamish Shaw, down to you, Thurls.
Just a quick one. It's quite surprising that they've gone back to their tall structure of the forward line. I thought it worked tremendously well in the latter part of that third quarter there, and they've gone back to Darcy and Hunt in the forward line. I'm not sure that's the right combination today.
Particularly against the wind, where you can... I think that they're kicking against the wind. Is that right, Thurls?
Yeah, it's a swirly breeze, so with a windy day, you're better off having the leg speed on the ground.
Yeah, kick it lower.
Yeah,
lay
definitely.
hard at it.
Yeah.
So Zane Murphy, free kick or mark, whatever you like. He was clipped around the ears and took the mark as well. He fancies his chances here. He'll be kicking from just outside 50. He's a beautiful kick as he swings around on that left foot. It won't quite have the carry on it, but it's deep in the square, and the ball goes off hands and through for a behind to North Launceston. The lead out to 19 points, 7 50-metre penalties today.
Yeah, a lot of ill discipline, poor discipline from both sides. In most cases, we'd finish with 1 or 2 nil.
So Glenorchy now pushing it out of defence, coming straight up the corridor, the kick into the centre. Nightingale there, can't get it. Wager goes through his legs. Nightingale backs up well, gets a quick kick inside 50 on the lead. Couldn't take the mark there was Darcy. Opportunity now to pick up at North Launceston, clear it out towards the boundary. Darcy wanting deliberate, but I don't think they'll have any joy out of that one. There's a bit of a look to the umpire.
Isn't he Paul? You saw this the other day. Dead set Paul Hamilton look-alike. Darcy, I reckon. Remember Paul Hamilton, the coach in 1999? A bit bigger than Paul Hamilton, we're told by our producer.
Who shall remain nameless, Benno. You're very fair to them. Nightingale gets the kick inside 50. Shaw got hands to it. Follow-up from Fuchs. Has he bundled it through for a goal? Glenorchy gets the reply.
And they've got to build on. That was terrific football from Fuchs. He just ran hard to the front of the pack. Got there at pace he outrun his opponent. I don't know who that is. He just read it better. And now for Glenorchy, so they've got to build on that. They have to. Obviously, they're in the position. They've got to get 2, 3, 4 in a row. That was a good goal. Well-constructed goal. So he's centred his kick to the top of the square from a punch away, and Fuchs just gets there first, outruns them in the right spot, front and centre, and he's timed his run beautifully because he hit it at pace and took it cleanly.
Much needed goal for Glenorchy, reduces the margin to 13 points. Early stages of the final term.
They're not going to go away.
Hayden Fox doing the ruck work in the early stages. Spencer favoured by the bounce. Breaks free, he'll get the resultant ball as well and kicks it inside 50 again. Punched away there, trying to take the mark. Bowring couldn't hold on to it and the ball bottled up. And we should see a ball up here for Glenorchy, just the attacking side of the centre. Approaching half forward.
Boys, Ben Reed has sent Jesse Crouch down to stop the live wire Darren Crawford.
Getting the tap, Darcy doing the ruck work on that occasion, trying to get it Callan Young for North Launceston. Oh, the handball, he was looking for a wager there, couldn't find him though, and the kick from O'Gary comes in but marked, and North Launceston are away here. It's that man Murphy, this time goes with the handball. Over the top to Adam Viney, has a bounce, kicks it in towards half forward. Crawford on the lead, Crouch there as well, no one able to take the mark, and they bump into each other, Crawford. And I think that's Jade Hodge down there, and the ball out of bounds just inside 50 for North Launceston.
Matched him for pace, Crouch. No, he's struggling, he's not at his best, but at least he kept up with him, got the important fist in. Good move.
So inside attacking 50 for North Launceston. A goal apiece in the final term. Cotton won it down. Anthony Viney gets a little scrappy kick forward. Littlejohn shoots at goal on his left boot. Littlejohn's got the goal. It's goal for goal, and North Launceston extends its margin out to 19 points again.
That was a terrific goal, just opportunistic. Off pack, Cotton did well. Cotton's really earned his keep today. Really worked. He's dropped a couple and missed a couple, but he's been really honest when the ball's been, when it's been a ruck contest in the forward line. He's got there, we missed it, but he was the one who got the first hand on it. Viney, I think, got on the end of that and then knocked it forward, and then Zane Littlejohn, good balance. Not on the easier side for a left foot. He's pretty happy with himself, and with good reason.
As you'll probably see, McLean's gone straight into the ruck, just come straight off.
So McLean and Spencer, the margin back out to 19 points. McLean gets the fist down, a good one there to Callan Young. Ball bottled up in the centre of the ground. No one can break free just at the moment. And that could be holding the ball. Could be a free kick to Glenorchy here. Good tackle there, and it's Matthews in the centre of the ground. Gets onto that left foot again. Making his way to the front, Bowring trying to get there. Got one hand to it, couldn't grab it. Nightingale dodges, weaves on the left foot, kicks it, but it goes straight out of bounds. Didn't really want to kick on his left, he had to, and the resultant ball out of bounds. But down where Glenorchy need it, and they desperately need a goal at approaching 9 minutes in the final term here at KG5. We've seen a great contest this afternoon.
Comes from a soccer background, Brock Nightingale. This is his first year, I think, of playing football, or second year of playing football.
McLean with 2 fists, gains about 10 metres. Opportunity now for Glenorchy to push inside 50. But the ball, McLean drops it. Easy mark that he should have taken on his chest. Opportunity now for Braden Webb. He gets onto the right boot. Could have been touched here. Could be play on, the umpire says. The ball picked up and trying to break free for Glenorchy. Couldn't do it. A chance now for Matthew Viney, and North Launceston are away here.
It's Littlejohn who breaks away with a couple of bounces and an excellent kick, although Cotton took his eyes off it in the end. Hodge sends Glenorchy forward again. He wants Bowden, who soars up and takes the mark on Stubbs. He moves it quickly, Jay Bowden. We've seen him kick goals from here. This won't be one of them. Losing the ball in flight was Nightingale. Taking the mark, Alan O'Sine. O'Sine to Wager. Wager marks in front of Fuchs as the shadows descend on KG5. A 19-point lead to North Launceston. Mark taken low down by Child. Jade Child calls for something. He hoists it high. Anthony Viney and Spencer with the height advantage, taken out of it by Cotton. At the back, Hodge goes in, needs to release the footy. Chandler to Crouch, by hand to Webb. This looks all right. Browning provided extra run. Matthews may give it to him now. He does. In fact, it's Zach Webb through the centre of KG5. Cox is deep for Glenorchy, works his way to the front, but drifting back, taking the mark was McLean.
So they've got to have the smaller forward line, and just Darcy's just, they've got to change it. It's just not working for them.
North Launceston move it well. Ty Stewart, the ball over now. North Launceston bring it forward towards the wing position. Cotton chasing after the ball, starting to look a little bit tired there. Picked up by Hodge, gets the kick, scrubbers along the ground. It'll go out of bounds on the outer side of KG5, where there's a group of about 20 Glenorchy faithful.
Tim and Cameron, has Parker hurt himself? I'm trying to pick himself up out there. Is he on the bench?
Yeah, he's on the bench. I think he came off early in the first half and hasn't returned. So
I'm just thinking what they could do, because Darcy's just not catching it. Maybe, you know, he's a big body. He's not fit, but playing him close to goals might be an answer.
Yeah, play him close to goal, and I'd chuck Jonathan Bowring and Bowden forward, and once the ball hits the ground, you know, their tricks and their space, they can, you know, win a game off their own boot.
Spencer and McLean do battle. McLean gets the tap down. Chance here for Glenorchy to break free, and they do, and the ball now coming inside 50. Chance there in front for North Launceston, picked up here by Joel Mountney. Mountney goes backwards and finds his teammate in Matthew Young, and North Launceston will build again here. Having a bounce for the Bombers, Hamish Shaw. Comes towards the centre of the wing position, and a strong grant, no mark, not taken there by Viney, and they'll be away through Sweeney for Glenorchy, and they'll repel, and coming forward now for them. Jason Chandler gets the ball inside 50. It'll just be well taken, picked up beautifully there by, looks like Cox for Glenorchy. Plays on, kicks it to full forward, right across the face of goal, in front for North Launceston. Oh, the ball just dropped there. I thought it could have almost been a throw.
Yeah, Parker's back on. And
McLean sees the ball through for a behind to Glenorchy.
Does that mean Darcy's off?
That's correct, Andy.
Thanks to Cameron Thurley. And Murphy goes to himself. Bit of a problem, maybe a dislocated finger possibly there for Bowden, the way he was carrying his hand. Free kick spotted for a push, and it will go the way of Glenorchy. To be taken by Zach Webb. And Bowden is coming off the ground. He'll be replaced by Rainbird. Parker comes through, lost the footy. O'Sine burrows in. That's industrious stuff. His kick didn't have the carry though, and it's chopped out by Chandler, and he's got the free man in Potter. Potter, 65 from goal. He sends it in, hunts out number 2-1, drifting over the back. Murphy dropped the mark. Viney under the pump, gets it to Murphy by hand. Murphy takes them on and bursts away. Wonderful play from Zane Murphy, if not extremely audacious. It bounced over the head of Child. Braden Webb knocks it O'Gary's way. He does well to keep it in. Can Glenorchy mount something here? Back out to Braden Webb. He needs to avoid a couple of brick walls. Hand passes to a North Launceston player in the end. But O'Gary broke in, took the ball, kicks to the pocket for Parker. Mountney over the top. Tried to dive for the line like a try. And Young gets a clearing kick out, and finally it will go over the boundary line.
That was terrific from Bryce O'Gary. Just sheer willpower. He just kept at it and at it and at it. It wasn't pretty, but it was exciting effort, just grit.
Boys, don't you love football? Bowden's come off. He's got his little pinky put back into spot. He's got a little bit of tape wrapped around, and he wants to get back out there. This is a cracker game down here, boys.
Desperate football. Man, Murphy again. He gets the handball away there to Child. Child's left foot kick covers a bit of distance. Not far, though. The ball's going to bounce out of bounds. No, it's not. It's picked up by Rainbird. Rainbird, the ball coming in towards half forward for Glenorchy. And the mark taken by Matthews again. Oh, that'll bring rain. It's been a beautiful day here. It's up high. Bowring's in front. Couldn't hold on to the mark. Glenorchy an opportunity now. Swinging onto the ball there is Braden Webb to full forward numbers with the Bombers.
Cop that.
And they try to get the ball away, but it's going to be picked up here by Young. Jake Cox has had a good second half. Sees a teammate. Centred Bowring has got it. Bowring has marked, he was free. There's plenty of players in that defensive 50 there for North Launceston, but he made space and well picked out by Jake Cox. Bowring's in a hurry. 15 minutes gone, final term. Straight in front, Bowring. And has that made that? It has.
It's waddled through.
It's gone through at head height. How that wasn't touched, I don't know, but Bowring has got a goal for Glenorchy. That's his second goal of the afternoon. And that has really meant game on now, Andy Bennett.
It's a game on again, yeah. And he's a terrific kick, highly skilled player. That wind must be still very, very strong, because he's searching for it with his foot. When you see it like that, it just hasn't hit his foot neatly. Wobbles around in the wind. He knows we've got away with one.
12 points the margin after that goal to Jonathan Bowring. It's been an entertaining, enthralling contest on ABC One this afternoon, and there's still a good 7 or 8 minutes of it to come your way. Littlejohn dropped the footy. O'Gary couldn't gather it. Fox paddles straight to Crouch. Crouch tackled. Bit of Rydham cowboy there from Bo Thorpe. And we'll have a bounce. North Launceston's attacking side of the setter.
He's one of 2 youngsters, 2 teenagers in the North Launceston side. Bo Thorpe, he's done a bit.
Fox reached over the back. This time it's Alan O'Sine laying the tackle and Braden Webb's going nowhere. That young fella's going nowhere either, except for a quick ride on his bike, but he'll be taking in all the action as he does it, I'm sure. O'Sine. Gee, he goes in hard. He's terrier-like, this young fellow. And what's happened here, he's been pinged. So that does not reward the bloke who goes in and gets the football. Webb, Parker on the lead. The kick's not got the carry. It's chopped out by Mountney. Joel Mountney returned to the side last week. Goes out to the wing and Stewart presents.
Ty Stewart, half bank, he goes short as well in the direction of Cotton. Couldn't hold on to the mark. It's been a great battle there this afternoon between those two, Hodge and Cotton. The ball could have been taken high there, Bryce O'Garry. The handball comes out. Going in hard and getting the ball there is Bowden for Glenorchy, trying to lift his side. The ball's not coming out and the umpire still calls play on, letting the game go. A good option this stage of the game. And North Launceston will come away with it. Chance though for Spencer and the big ruckman. He's been tireless in this second half. He's worked extremely hard, thwarts that attack. He goes in short, a little bit too much carry there. Chance for Newman to pick up for North Launceston. Good tackle there by O'Garry, Bryce O'Garry on this occasion. It's back with O'Sine, who's had a great last quarter. Murphy with the ball now. Child gets a little kick, doesn't go very far. Play on, says the umpire. It's O'Sine again. This time he kicks long in the direction though, and it's that man Spencer again, who plays on and gives it over to his captaining Jesse Crouch. And they'll come out wide and build up here. Fuchs takes the mark. He's got a little bit of room. And the runners are coming through. Glenorchy move it through the centre of the ground. Good kick and the mark taken by Matthews. Quick to play on inside 50. Shoots for goal. It's going to be just offline to the left. Oh, what a goal that would have been for Glenorchy as we approach 19 minutes in the final term. The margin now just 11 points.
Oof. It's plenty of time.
Certainly when Glenorchy goes short through centre half forward, gee, they look dangerous and look like they're going to score most times they go in. But when they bomb it in, it gives the North Launceston defenders a chance to spoil.
Mountney was at the back. Shaw, quick hands. Newman, in fact, Wager marking low down Thorpe.
No signs off for a rest. It'll be very important they get him back in. I don't think it'll be too long a rest. It's important to them.
Cotton initiated body contact. Crawford's got it at the back. He takes on O'Garry. He's in trouble. Got it free in the end. Wager had followed up. The ball spills. Sweeney gathers, gets his quick kick clear. Straight into the arms, though, of Wilmot for North Launceston. He goes long and wide and out of bounds on the full in the forward pocket.
I don't think that one carried. You might be wondering at home why he played on it. I think he carried the requisite 15 metres and it wasn't deemed a mark.
Muir. He goes long to the outer side of the ground. Shaw and Bowden. Bowden with pace. Pace to Byrne and he runs away from them. Has a bounce. Goes to the pocket. Bowring. Almost marked down low. Matthew Viney did well for North Launceston. Look at the urgency on his face. He got the hand pass clear and Mountney with a good kick. Child marks about 40 out from goal, the goal that he is defending.
I don't think he was looking for him, but the lucks of fortune. Child taking the mark there. Called to play on by the umpire. He comes out wide towards the wing position, looking for a little nudge in the back. No, play on, says the umpire. Cotton sees Wager over the top. Wager's got space, but kicks immediately in towards Crawford. Couldn't take the mark. Crawford battling there with O'Garry. Crawford still battling hard. North Launceston trying to put this game to rest with this attacking move coming forward, but the ball bottled up at centre half forward there for North Launceston, and we'll have a bounce.
It's not pretty, but it's ferocious.
It certainly is. 21 minutes gone. Still time for Glenorchy. Less than 2 goals in it. From the bounce, Cotton doing the ruck work, gets the ball down. Sweeney battling there with Littlejohn. Littlejohn on the left foot. looks for and finds on this occasion Crawford. Well, this could be a telling moment in the game. Darren Crawford should just go back now and have a shot for goal. He's well inside 50. And at the same time, Andy, it will chew up a little bit of time.
Yeah, it was good use of the ball from Zane Littlejohn. Didn't blast away, lowered his eyes, kicked to the target. And we said it before, he just keeps presenting Darren Crawford. And he sort of, I don't know whether if he kicks this goal it's all over, but there would be something fitting around him kicking a goal that got North Launceston across the line.
He's on a tight angle, but only about 30 metres. He's kicked 4 goals, 2 for the afternoon, Darren Crawford. He slowly moves in deliberately. It's a very good-looking kick, and that's a goal, and his teammates rush to him. Crawford gets his 5th goal for the afternoon. North Launceston are out by 17 points, and it's going to be very tough for Glenorchy now. Good work there by Littlejohn. He didn't panic, as you said, Andy, and found Crawford in space. He's worked so hard today, Crawford, and I think he's got his reward. 5 goals.
He has very much got the reward. Great contribution to the team, great contribution to what looks like will be a win now. Now, when it's in a game where it's very difficult, neither side, apart from Darren Crawford, has set up a winning forward. Cotton's done okay, but he hasn't dominated. With that 5 goals is a huge contribution.
McLean and Spencer. Spencer won it down. Fuchs and Bowden for Glenorchy out after it. He just evades them though. Stewart, Wager. Not sure who to give it to. In the end, gave it back to Stewart. Stewart, a little bit of indecision. To Murphy. There should be a tally for Zane Murphy just for balks and evades. It'd be up in the double-figure tally now, I reckon. Chandler was there for Glenorchy, but Cotton running back with the flight. Well done.
It's just getting better.
Cotton squares it up to Young, who's running on. Body clash here between Young and Sweeney. The ball spills clear. Rainbird was there, but Newman runs away for North Launceston. He goes in the Crawford direction. He's got it again.
And 50
in the back. This is the sealer. Was that Littlejohn again coming forward? Newman
again, with a good kick.
See, they just used the ball really well. Didn't blast, lowered their eyes. Honoured Crawford's lead. Gee, that was a fierce clash going back. Are they okay? Sweeney and I didn't see who that was. It Young?
Young, Callan Young.
Both of them bounced up, thank God, but they didn't back off either on them, and good on them. That's one of the things we love in this game, but also one of the things that makes you go, ooh, I'm glad it's not me. Glad that's all behind me.
Darren Crawford to put the icing on the cake for North Launceston. He slots it through, number 6, and they're home, the Northern Bombers.
They are. And it's been a good quality game, good quality contest. It got a bit ordinary there in the second quarter, I thought, when the wind first came up, but this guy's been, you know, if you're giving votes for effectiveness or contribution to the wind, he'd be way up there, I suppose, along with Viney, Zane Murphy. But I think 5 goals or 6? 6 goals is a big result, big return on this day.
So North Launceston, their first trip south, will result in a very important win for them and cement their spot in the top 3. McLean and Spencer go at it again. Picked up there, moving it forward, Adam Viney. Ball shark though, and it's that man, I think it might be Matthews again. No, yes, it is kicking it into defence, but it's going to be repelled by Matthew Viney. In fact, it was Joseph getting that kick in. And McLean takes the mark. He quickly plays on. Handball comes over the top to Matthew Young. And they're away again, North Launceston. And they'll move it in towards half forward. And a good, strong mark taken there by Wilmot. He's been pretty good this afternoon, Wilmot, for North Launceston as well. Murphy gets onto that left foot, kicks it right up to full forward. Crawford goes one hand, couldn't take the mark. Picked up now and a chance for Glenorchy to get it out, but the boundary line is too close. And in the right forward pocket, 25.5 minutes gone in the final term. It's North Launceston by 23 points.
The Bombers' highest score for the season so far. Cotton in ruck. Third man up was Hodge. Picked up by Osine, who's been really good. Viney. This is Adam Viney. Beats 1. Beats 2. Gets the hand pass over the top to Newman. Viney, wonderful spin, central kick. Glenorchy have the numbers. It falls though for good tackle on Osine. I was getting excited at the prospect of a goal as Osine, I'm sure too. The eyes must have lit up for him. And Matthews marks between wing and half back. He centres it up. That is a disastrous kick. Mark taken by Wilmot. Murphy out to the pocket. Crawford's got a couple of metres again, and turnovers kill in football.
And decision-making is so important. It wasn't a bad kick off the boot, it was just a poor decision. And remember, we talked around this pretty consistently. When is a good performance at a full forward can become an outstanding performance? I reckon if he kicks over the 7, it's dead set outstanding. Pace. It's a great commodity, isn't it?
He's got oodles of that, Benno, and he holds his marks too. 6 goals, 2, and 1 that did not make the distance for Crawford. This one will make the distance. This one will make it 7 goals for the afternoon.
Terrific, outstanding, wonderful, great team contribution, great personal achievement. Well used by his teammates further up the field. In that case, I think it was Murphy who kicked it to him. Little John's done it a couple of times as well. So they've really honoured his work, and he's just loved leading at them. And in the end, well, I'm not going to say he's the difference, but gee, he's a big part of it, isn't he?
He's kicked the last 3, Darren Crawford. And now a bit of percentage coming into it for North Launceston.
The tap from a clean shark by Matthews, and they come forward now, Glenorchy, and a good strong mark there taken for the Magpies by Bowden. But it's too little too late. Crawford only 22 years of age too, Andy. He's still a young man.
It's one of those guys, because he's you can't not notice him, if that's the right thing. We've watched this one.
Bowden's kick is off to the left, and it'll be touched and out of bounds, but that receding hairline may fool some people,
Andy.
Andy.
Also, he was like some kids you hardly notice for a couple of years, because the way he goes about it, he bobbed up and was in our consciousness and in our face right from the start of when he played. So he seems like he's been around for a long time.
Deep in the forward pocket, punch forward by Glenorchy there. Chance for Cox, comes out over the top, and there's the siren. A tremendous victory for North Launceston here this afternoon at KG5. They've made their first trip down south this year, and that will be a huge confidence boost for them. Their 4th win in a row, and they'll have a wonderful trip back to Launceston this evening, and well, they may look happy, the Northern Bombers. They'll be celebrating a terrific victory. Final score here at KG5 this afternoon. North Launceston, 14 goals, 9, 93. They've defeated Glenorchy, 9-10, 64.
I'm impressed. They've improved, obviously improved a lot. They're fitter, they have a better game plan. They've got a number of players who they've got some improvements in their side. You know, the obvious one is Murphy, who they pulled over from Burnie's, really made a difference because he uses the ball so well. They've got a good game plan, I think. I thought they were brought back to a lower level for a period in the second quarter. But probably what impressed me is most, Glenorchy were never going to let go. That's the nature of their side, and they hung in there, played maybe 5 minutes of really good football at the end of the third quarter. Hung in there again in the last quarter, but then they sprinted away, North Launceston. They've ended up winning by 5 goals, and that's a really good, strong win. They haven't just fallen over the line on the back of a bit. Impressive.
Darren Crawford with 7 goals this afternoon. Tim Hazel's got him for us.
Thanks, Alistair. Darren, mate, you always seem to come out in these ABC games and put on a show. Congratulations, 7 goals.
Yeah, look, it was a tough game. Like, we knew that Glenorchy were going to be up for the challenge, and we spoke about it during the week about being our first away game for the year, and Axe put it to us, and he spoke to the leaders in the team, I suppose, a few of the old blokes, and just said, look, it's time for you guys to stand up and show that we're going to be a real force this year. So it was a really good effort.
Shane Wager, especially Zane Murphy, just those leaders, they really lifted today and just delivered to you every time.
Yeah, look, Murph's been a great pickup for us, from Burnie this year. So, losing Wish Wilson last year, we've probably covered him now with Murphy, and he's had a great start to the year. And Wages, he's getting a bit old, but he's still doing the job. So yeah, it's a really good start to the year.
Speaking of age, you've got McLean. He's just still running around, isn't he? But still provides in the rock.
37 years of age, and state team coming up, and I suppose he'd be a bit of a roughie for that. So, we're going okay. We'll just keep working away, and 4-1 I think we are now. So it's a really good start for the year.
I was speaking to Paul Atkins before the game, and he spoke about your fitness over pre-season. Yeah. That's obviously a huge theme you bring into these games.
Yeah, we've done a tower of work pre-season. He had this new program, and the boys worked their asses off pre-season. So it couldn't be any fitter, and I think it's paying off. The last quarter we've overrun them in going against the wind, so it was a really good effort.
Now back to you. You've got superstar. That's what the boys have been labelling you as they've been walking off. You must be happy with your form.
Oh, not really. Today's been a good return to form. I've been struggling a little bit, but you know, we're trying to find a few more avenues to goal this year, and, you know, Cots and a few of the other guys just try and step up and kick some more goals. So we're not always trying to kick it to me, and, you know, it's proving to be all right so far. So, yeah, pretty good.
Just tell us a little bit about Paul Atkins, because I heard him at quarter time speak to the boys. He's very deliberate. He's very straight. What's he like as a coach?
He's been fantastic. Yeah, that's probably the best word to sum him up. It's just been a breath of fresh air for the boys, and you know, he's got his record football-wise speaks for itself. So you couldn't question that about him. And, you know, it's just been, you know, his experience. He's a real football man, loves his footy, and yeah, it's just been fantastic having a new person from outside the club come to North.
We might have to start calling you the ABC specialist. Congratulations, Croft, on your 7 goals performance.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Benno, if we gave away a TV after the game every week, I reckon he'd have a few, but it probably wouldn't be one of those nice new plasmas. I reckon it'd be one of those old dial-up ones, I reckon. But
we'll sort of go with his image. He's a bit retro-looking in a way, isn't he? I think he wouldn't like anything too flash, but gee, he was very impressive today. Just because he was running really hard at the end. I was really interested in the comments here around the fitness work that they've done to set them up for this year. I've got to say, I reckon that's just where they didn't give themselves an even chance at all last year. They never looked fit to me. They had flashes of football, able to play well when they had the ball, couldn't compete when the ball was going the other way, and they retained their attacking potential today. But when they had to sort of just grubber it out, you know, just really hang in there, they were pretty good at that.
They've got a nice mix of talls and smalls too, don't they? Cotton and McLean, even though McLean is getting on, he still has an impact in games, and Cotton's taken his game to another level. Mountain's a big bloke, and Hayden Fox, although he didn't have a heap of it today, looks like he's an athletic type of tall as well.
Yeah, well, they've got the real advantage now that they don't have to push Cotton into the ruck. They've just played him down forward. He's improved in his marking, so he's a good, reliable avenue for goal, or at least an avenue for a really good, strong contest. And they can rotate Fox and McLean off the bench. I thought it was significant that they started with Fox in the last quarter, but smart. 5 minutes in, they put McLean on, and number 4 for Spencer was going really well. Had a really good 10 or 15 minutes, but then McLean got right on top of him, I thought, from that 5-10 minute mark of the second quarter, and ran all over the top of him. And then well used. They just sort of there were just too many of them. You know, they were really hanging in with Spencer. The other mob had 2, and Cotton goes forward. It's a great luxury.
How much is an away win worth in this competition, do you think?
Oh, it's huge. It is huge. It's difficult. It's different. You've got to build it up. Here's the best way. You can actually use it to your advantage because you are travelling together, and if you hang on to that part of it, it can be an advantage, but it's difficult. It's just out of your normal comfort zone.
Certainly makes you sing the song a bit louder, I reckon.
Yeah.
The guy in the black hat there, Benno, you can see Lee Harding, who said to me before the game that he'd had a great pre-season and he's unfortunately injured his ankle and needed an operation. If they can get him back and fit and firing towards the end of the season, that'll be a big in for them as well.
That's it, and that's another good thing. If you win games early on, and they have now, they've got 4-1, that's a good start. You actually start to build a bit of comfort into your year, and also you're starting to look where you might improve. It's very early days, but if you know you've got a couple of players on the sideline, because you're going to get some deviations in form and injury and whatever, but if you know you were going pretty well, we're 4-1, and look what's on the sideline. We can afford to have a little bit of a lapse in form because we've got those wins under the belt, but also we're going to put a bit of pressure on when Harding and the likes come back. And I think they're pretty close to their top 22, though, other than Harding.
Not too many young players in that side, aren't they? Prasiak to come back, who missed out today. A bit of a calf problem for Prasiak, so I probably won't sideline him for all that long. What about Glenorchy? Because I went and watched them round 1 and I excused them for being a bit flat. I thought to myself, you know, they might just take a little bit of time to get into the season, but that's their lowest score for the year. And they didn't play good football in large parts today.
No, I think that's the point. I thought we had the sort of grit that we normally would get out of them. You know, they fought hard and their tackling rate came up and when it had to. But they only had 5 minutes of good football. I said before, I'm impressed. North Launceston obviously improved. You've got to say so far that Glenorchy haven't kicked on from where they were last year.
So the margin was 11 points in favour of North Launceston at quarter time, 16 at half time. The Glenorchy Magpies had fought back a bit in the third and the margin 11 points again, but Darren Crawford blew it open in the last. He kicked the last 3 goals of the game and the final margin was 29 points. Bowring with a couple for Glenorchy, Darcy, Fuchs, Crouch, Cox, Hunt and Bowden. Crawford with 7. Cotton 2. Wilmot did some good things for North Launceston. He looks like he's been a pretty good recruit for them. Adam Viney with 1, Littlejohn with 1 and McLean with 1 as well. I think we're going to see some highlights shortly, but before we do, let's take a look at the possessions. Matthews, 25 possessions, 8 marks. He tried really hard. He's got a lovely raking left foot. Spencer tried hard as well, Benno. You were impressed with him today. 21 possessions, 8 marks and plenty of hit-outs.
I think he's improved. I thought he was a real battler last year and, he gave a good contest in rugby, just didn't get enough of the ball. And I don't, normally we'd call half a dozen possessions and he's got 21 possessions.
Let's take a look at the North Launceston rooms again and...
Boys in the end.
There's Paul Atkins. He was fired up at three-quarter time. Now I reckon he's decidedly diffused and just pretty happy with everything.
Yeah, well, he was very direct. He knew it was on the line. They couldn't back off. I was impressed because there wasn't any sense, like, come on, guys, we can win this or whatever. He was wanting more, wanting better, and that's the right way to go out. And they did. They probably played in the end their best football. They played very good football, I thought, in the first quarter, and then very good football when it was right on the line in the last quarter.
How much of this went on when you were playing football? Did the coach sit you down and run through the KPIs after the game, or if you had a win, was it celebrate, boys, enjoy straight away?
When I was playing, it was a real tradition that you went straight into the coaches' rooms almost.
I suppose you had the say.
Yeah, when I was coaching it, and in hindsight, I would say this: in hindsight, I would have done it way differently than I did. I would have got the guys warmed down, had their showers, done all that work, get them calm, and then talk to them, particularly when you lose. And you might want to, if you had a really good win, sing the song with real gusto and say great, and just leave it go at that. But I wasn't too good when we lost. I would sometimes regretted what I'd say. I'd try and be good, but I sometimes let myself down.
That's when a nice cold walk in the Derwent River wasn't too bad when they knew that you were steamed up. Zane Murphy's finished with 37 possessions. He had 10 in the first quarter, 6 in the second, 10 in the third and 11 in the last.
And the good thing from him, a lot like North Launceston, was I thought he drifted out of the game a bit in the middle parts. He was outstanding first quarter, but he was very good in the last quarter. And he took them on a couple of times in the last quarter and ran away from them. And that's a good testament to his fitness, because I always reckon he's been a bit underdone in that. He lives on the edge of his skill, and you put your heart in your mouth, and he does hang on to it too long, but it's a fine line. You wouldn't want to take it out of that line, out of your game, would you? Because that's what he does well. He kicks so well. You just want him to fine-tune it and occasionally handball.
He does occasionally get accused of lacking a bit of pace, Zane Murphy, but I sometimes wonder whether it's just purely that he's so good at buying himself space and time.
He might be one of those guys who just cruise and doesn't look, because he's really strong here in the hips. So when he's under pressure, he can shake and tackle and just shake the tacklers off. So he's got good lower body power, and he certainly didn't look slow today.
Let's venture down into the successful change rooms. Tim Hazel's in there for us.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I'm actually down here with Zane Murphy. Congratulations, 25 punishing touches. What a win.
Oh, mate, come down here. Got on the bus this morning at 7 o'clock or something. Come down here with the under-19s. Come to their home ground and have a win like that. It's unbelievable.
Now, we just want to speak about that raking left foot you've got. You were just penetrating the ball 50, 60 metres. How's it going?
I've got this new power bounce band. I think it's doing a bit for me kicking. I'm not sure.
Paul Atkins, just address the boys. He's wrapped with the win coming down, but he spoke about being respectful towards the opposition. That was the theme today.
Yeah, well, we think as a team, if we go out there and respect them, play one-on-one football, we can back our own ability to beat them one-on-one, and that's what we did, went out and beat them.
You must love coming through the midfield and seeing Crawf and Cotton and these exciting targets up forward.
Oh, well, look, Crawf kicked 6 or 7 today. It's just unbelievable, and Cotton just keeps hitting up. All you got to do is put it out the space, mate. They do the rest.
Now, your move from Burnie down to North Launceston, the rumour is you're travelling down from Wynyard for training. You must be committed to the cause.
Yeah, well, they're a great bunch of blokes. It's good coming down. I mean, I'm a builder now up the coast, and I've got a great boss at Tailor-Made Homes and Building Services, and come down, he lets me knock off work early, come down, come to training. It's good.
You're looking fitter. You played exceptionally well. Fantastic win. Enjoy the bus trip back home.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
He looks like a builder. He's well built himself, isn't he? And he's, I'm sure any TSL female followers would be pretty happy with that little interview, Benno.
Yeah, whether he took the shirt off before, what do you reckon?
I think Tim told him to.
Okay. Good, but he was outstanding today. I want to talk a little bit about Paul Atkins, and I don't know whether this is the right term, but values-based coaching. I think that's important, that you've got to say when when you're working with the side, you work technically with them, get them fitter and improve their skills, but actually the essence of a side is what we believe in under pressure, or what we always take in game. You heard that respect word a lot. Respect your forwards, respect the work you've done. So if you run inside 50, you've worked really hard, make sure you kick the goal, and now respect the opposition. I've worked with a few coaches over the years, and the ones that I think were most effective were really strong on that. Alan Jeans, for example, was huge just on that. You respect the game, you respect the opposition, you respect your teammates and the work you do. So I like that essence of it. It's not just, spread and at the ball up, spread here and run there. There's something about what is it that makes us a side.
It's helped North Launceston to a 29-point win over Glenorchy out here at KG5. In the game at the TCA ground at half-time, it was Hobart leading Burnie by 10 points. The Mercury newspaper's Danielle McKay has been watching the game. Danielle, how did it finish up out there?
Oh, hey, Alistair. I can tell you it's going to be a very long, quiet and solemn bus ride home for the Burnie boys. They ended up suffering an 81-point defeat after, like you said, they closed the gap to just 10 points at half-time. When they were coming into this match, they were a little bit worried about playing at the TCA because it was the first time the teams played here. And look, Hobart were just way too solid on their home ground to really, to suffer any challenge from Burnie.
Sounds like the Tigers' forward line was working pretty well today, Danielle. Sam Reeves impressed us at Lauderdale last week. Did he manage to get his hands on it much today?
Oh, he's fabulous, Sam Reeves. And look, he only got one goal on the board, but he's much more impressive on the ground. He's just relentless when it comes to the ball. The main goal kicker was Blair Keane. He ended up with 6 majors, which is really impressive. Young fella, I think he's in his early 20s as well. Probably one of Hobart's best players, though, was actually their ruckman, Matty Cleary, who ended up with about 46 centre clearances compared to Burnie's 19. So he was one of the most pivotal players in Hobart's victory today.
Danielle, it's Andy speaking. That's a huge drop-off in the second half, when they were right in the game at half-time. So what happened to Burnie? It's a hard thing to say, but did they just turn it up?
It's really funny because Hobart booted away in the third quarter because they had a really strong breeze with them, and they just utilised that to the best of their advantage and obviously got some really good points on the board. But then I think Burnie just really dropped their bundle. At three-quarter time, the coach kind of came in, this is Brent Plant, said, give me 10, 15 minutes of solid play, boys. This is all I'm asking, just get us back in the game. And they had the breeze with them in the final quarter, but Hobart just dominated. Burnie couldn't get anywhere near the ball and it just completely wiped them off the board.
Danielle McKay from the Mercury newspaper, thank you very much for joining us on the line, and what a performance from Hobart. Goes to show what a win can do for a team, Andy.
2 in a row, and they've still got some good players to come back. Michael Cassidy didn't play today, their main avenue to goal. And they've done the job without it. Because Burnie, Burnie, I think we've got it's one of the things it's time to take check of where Burnie is. They were very impressive early in the year. We knew they were very young. They knew had a new side, and travelling to a new ground, that young, against a side that had a really good win last week was always going to be a big challenge, a big test for them. And you've got to be honest, they didn't come up to it today. But I don't like making excuses, but they are a very, very new side.
Let's head back into the North Launceston rooms, and Tim Hazel's got the coach with him.
I do. Paul, congratulations. Huge win. You must be wrapped with the boys.
Yeah, really. Process is a word that's thrown around in footy, and we have been on a process for 5 weeks. And look, I circled this game about week 2 of my coaching, and I knew it'd be a good challenge and a real challenge to come down here. And yeah, I'm over the moon. I really am.
You spoke before the game about the challenge, and the boys stood up, and especially Crawford, Wager, Murphy was exceptional down in defence. That must really please you.
Certainly, not only just the senior players, but Callum Young came up the ground and played across half forward and went through the midfield. But bits and pieces of players, some of the players that in a win are a little bit disappointed, I'll get around them, but their little bits and pieces have helped in the last bit of the game. Cal Newman there just got 2 clears when the game was teetering. So, he's had an input into the game, and we've got to have 22 players inputting the game for us to have a result like that.
Stoppages was 7 and 7. It was a hard battle out there, but the boys came through. That must be really pleasing, taking them back up the road tonight.
Certainly, stoppages were hard, and I highlighted it 7-7 in the last quarter. And we spoke about before the game that's where the game could be won or could be lost. But we managed to get away from those stoppages and just got some good clear ball away. Glenorchy were really good up into the 12-minute mark of that quarter, but we responded. And when you've got a class forward like Crawford that you know that you can go to, and if you get your delivery to him, 9 times out of 10 he's going to get his hands on the ball.
After the game, you spoke about playing one-on-one. You also spoke about respect. Two huge cliches in football, but the boys responded.
Yeah, it's one thing that we've worked really hard on as a group, you know, the cliched words. You know, respect was one of my highlighted words before the game. Respect the opposition, respect your teammates, respect the umpires, you know, respect your own skill level. And today, that's where we were. We got to a stage where it was a bit of them, a bit of us, and in the end, the respect that we gave them when we were able to work off them, you know, probably was the turning point of the game.
You coached exceptionally well. I was a bit worried. You've got the boots on. You were going to jump out there and join the boys, but have a fantastic trip back up and good luck for the rest of the year, Paul.
Cheers. Thanks, Tim. Thank you very much.
A happy coach down there in the North Launceston rooms. A 29-point win over Glenorchy this afternoon. It will be a pretty cheerful bus trip back to York Park this evening, I'm tipping. 81 points the margin to Hobart over Burnie at the TCA ground. What about the match at North Hobart Oval? It was Launceston leading by 9 points at half-time. Adam Smith from the Mercury newspaper's been there this afternoon. Smithy, how did that one finish?
North Hobart has emerged triumphant. Alistair, they've overrun Launceston in the last quarter to win 11-16-82 to 9-12-66.
So did it just take the Demons a little while to get their game going today?
I think so. It was a very tight contest for the first 3 quarters. A lot of stoppages and sort of both sides couldn't really get kick clear. And I think there was 13 goals to 3-quarter time. And then it sort of opened up in the last and they just came home stronger.
What did you think the difference was in the end, Smithy?
I think with the side, you know, Kenny Hall, Nathan Street, these type of guys were thrown into the middle at the start and they sort of just started to get their hands on the ball first and that proved the difference. I mean, Launceston seemed to tire a little bit, but the guys that have been kept down for a majority of the day stepped up when they needed to and that sort of proved the difference.
Brad, is Ollie Di Venuto amongst those? He's been in terrific form so far.
Yes, he had a cracking first half and his ball use was spectacular today. He sort of drifted out of it a little bit, but no, very impressive in the first half.
Adam Smith, thanks very much for your information from North Hobart Oval. The Mercury newspaper's Adam Smith there, and North Hobart now with 4 wins for the season from its 5 rounds, so they're going pretty nicely as well.
It was good and important they bounced back from that loss last week. We talked about that at half-time.
Let's take a look at a few highlights from the final term of our match here at KG5. The Bombers by 29 points, and Cotton, whose marking has really come on this season, and he kicked a couple of goals for North Launceston as well this afternoon, Justin Cotton. A good return for him. It was goal for goal at the start of the last term. Daniel Fuchs getting one there for Glenorchy that gave them some hope. The margin was 13 points when he did that. This was a good finish, though, on a tight angle on the left boot from Littlejohn. Yeah, he's very excited around that. It was a bit opportunistic. He just happened to be standing out in space. Viney got it under him pressure and just dribbled one forward. Poor defence, though, from Glenorchy. You can't have there must be one-on-one deep in defence, I reckon, at ball-ups and throw-ins. So Crawford with the final 3 goals of the game, and that really was the sealer from Crawford. It came at the 21-minute mark and made the margin 17 points. He was outstanding. Good ball use here from Zane Littlejohn. No, I wasn't sorry. From Zane Murphy. Sorry, I was going to say Zane Taylor. Zane Murphy going forward, and he was outstanding, wasn't he, all day? Glenorchy would have loved to have had something like him or someone like Wager, who you could just find space and not have to deliver the ball under pressure all the time. If you look at Glenorchy's now, Bowden did it a little bit, Bowring a little bit, but a lot of it was under real pressure. They didn't have any much open running football. Jesse Crouch still looks pretty underdone, doesn't he? Yeah, he's got knee problems, I know, and he has had for some time. He's had a lot of work done on his knees over the years, so it's been tough work for him. Let's take a look at the other games. There's one more to complete round 5 of the TSL, and that game is being played tonight in the north of the state. It's Devonport versus South Launceston. We'll have more footy coming up for you next week as well, of course. And it's Hobart, the Tigers, with their tails up. They'll play Devonport. And Devonport will be hoping for a win over South Launceston tonight so they can come down south with a 2-3 win-loss record. Launceston versus Clarence at Windsor Park, so the Blues will be hoping they can really end this era of dominance that Clarence seems to be in at the moment. North Launceston versus Lauderdale, the 2 Bombers going head-to-head, the Southern versus the Northern. Burnie versus South Launceston at West Park, and North Hobart versus Glenorchy. And that's a Sunday game, Benno, at North Hobart Oval. So North Hobart would go into that one favourites, but I'd imagine Ben Reid's going to be having a few stern words with his team this week.
That's hugely important for Glenorchy. They were trying to right the ledger, get 3 and 2 today. Now they're 2 and 3. They drop off. You know, you start to see where the ladder's going to fall. They need to come up with a much improved performance next week. I
think you would probably, if you're a Glenorchy player, be feeling a little flat tonight. How do you get a team up when it's not playing good football? It's coming off a pretty bad loss this afternoon, and it's got a pretty cranky coach, I'd imagine. Yeah, well, being cranky's not. You certainly want to be strong with them. Being cranky's not going to do it on at all. They'll have the advantage of grabbing the tape. They can show very clearly to their side where they were good and where they weren't so good. Give some very clear direction. Put it behind them. Set some goals. But you've got to work. I've got a feeling that Glenorchy aren't as fit as they should be. So the winners in round 5 of the TSL on Saturday afternoon, North Launceston by 29 points. North Hobart won the game at North Hobart Oval by 16 points. And the Tigers 81-point winners over Burnie at the TCA ground. So we expected close encounters today, and the closest was at North Hobart Oval. And Hobart, well, they're celebrating tonight because they're back in form as well. Here, North Launceston victors, they head back home to York Park pretty happy tonight. Thanks for your company.
They call Victoria the place to be, and it certainly is for bowls fans. Welcome to the Shepparton Park Bowls Club for the 2010 edition of the Australian Open. Nice to have your company as we continue our coverage of Australia's richest bowls tournament here on Super Series Bowls. Well, the purse for the singles is the most lucrative of all the disciplines here at the Australian Open, and we're down to the final 4 in the men. Let's meet our competitors for the men's first semi-final. And it's former English international David Holt up against ex-Aussie representative Aaron Sheriff. Former world champion Ian Shue back with me. And Shuey, this is a tantalising matchup. And interestingly enough, Aaron Sheriff had some time away from the international spotlight, but he's back, and he's back in a big way.
He is back in a big way. He pulled out. He withdrew from the Australian squad to focus on his forthcoming marriage, his job at Harley Kalani on the Central Coast of New South Wales. He's in good form. He has not dropped a set in the tournament.
And we know that, well, both players, we can say that about both of them really, because it's such a big draw at this big tournament. So we'd expect that David Holt would have to be in a pretty hot vein of form as well.
He is. He knocked out last year's winner Brett Wilkie in the previous round in the quarter-final, which is a fabulous win. Aaron Sheriff, he's in terrific form. Remember, he was the silver medalist in singles at World Championship. Holt is a Commonwealth Games gold medalist for England in the fours. Terrific match this.
Hope you enjoy it with us. Clint Wilden will be with Shuey to start the commentary.
It's the first of the men's singles at the Australian Open. Here at Shepparton in Victoria, they've turned on another lovely day, but there is a bit of a gusty breeze. That is Aaron Sheriff. The Sheriff back in town and in form here at the Australian Open. He's wearing the black. Blue bowls with the black disc, and you will have to keep an eye on the coloured discs on the bowls today with both our bowlers. That's David Holt. Both using blue bowls. There's a slight colour difference between them. Holt with the blue discs and Sheriff with the black. 30 metres rolled for the first end of this first set. And Ian Shoeback is with me, and Shuey looking forward to see Aaron Sheriff in action. We know how exciting he can be, looking for his first Australian Open crown. And David Holt, a man you have a bit of a history with.
Yes, David Holt. He's represented England at flat green and crown green bowls. I played David. I used to train with him. He was the manager of the Blackpool Indoor Bowls Centre, and used to train with David prior to the World Championships. Met him once in the quarter-final. 5 sets. Every set 7-6.
And who won?
I was snuck in by a shot. And he's a very entertaining player. This will be an exciting match because it'll be a very quick game.
The gap between these two bowls out here, please.
Two of the quickest players
About 9 inches.
in the world. Aaron Sheriff. They're very quick on their decision making, their tactics. They both like to attack.
How far short's my one there, please?
Your bowl would be 15 inches short of jack high.
Ken, our marker. From Victoria as well. Sheriff, who looking for the shot, and he's got a fair bit on this, and he's lost it, in fact, into the ditch.
Unusual technique, David Holt. He has the left hand not balanced on the knee, just hangs down the side of his body.
Well, Holt is holding one. That's the bowl with the blue disc. About 10 o'clock. Some weight on from Sheriff. Will need a bit of luck. Just goes scooting through the middle.
For those viewers who have never seen crown green bowls, it's a lot bigger than a normal bowling green. It has a crown in the middle. You play crisscross over the hump and down the side, and other matches going across in front of you. There's a lot of cheering and gambling. There are bookmakers around at some of the big crown green tournaments. You can bet on every bowl delivered, the result of every end or the match. It's like a football match. Crown Greens played up in the Midlands, the north of England. He's very animated, David Holt.
Might be able to get a second. I think he has. Holt with the 2 blue discs.
2 blue.
And they agreed, 2 blue.
2 shots.
So a good start to the Englishman.
After the opening end of this first men's
Up
semi-final.
2-0 after the first end of the first set. Holt giving the mat away. Sheriff going for another long end. The first was 30. This just half a metre shorter.
David Holt skipped the English fours team to the Commonwealth Games gold medal in Manchester 2002. Been playing out of the Cabramatta Club in Sydney for the last few years. Now representing New South Wales.
You were talking about Crown Bowls the previous end. Should we have any Crown Bowls clubs in Australia?
It's a good question. I'm not